Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most ambitious crossover of all time. I'm joined by fellow YouTubers LRXC and I'm a Blissey for this massive Gen 3OU bracket here. This is insane. How's it going,
Hello.
folks?
What is up? I'm ready.
I'm also ready.
There's already some heater matchups. I can't wait.
And we've got two brackets, of course.
Oh my gosh, there's a second
There's
bracket.
a second bracket. And the
This is
winner
new to us. This was just revealed.
Apologies. Yeah.
Kingdra.
Kingdra's top 32 in usage, yeah. So, folks, this is the top 32 Pokemon in Gen 3OU ladder recently, in the last month of usage, for the whole ladder. There's like sections of it where it is just 1500 plus or something. I've just done the entire ladder. First matchup is an interesting one. Claydol versus Dugtrio. What do we think?
In my head, the Dugtrio cannot defeat it because it's flying.
That's true.
but-
Dugtrio would not do
Yeah.
well in a 1v1.
I'm also thinking about outside of Gen 3 OU. Like, what is a Dugtrio without a choice band, right? Like, what is? I'm thinking of Dugtrio outside of having potential items, and I just think Claydol is by far a more versatile and interesting Pokemon competitively and just design-wise. It just looks so cool to me.
I definitely really like Claydol's design, actually. It's very cool. It's very symmetrical. And it's not like just three guys glued together.
Yes.
I think it's like an evolution of the concept of Baltoy. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's a perfect Gen 3 design where again, maybe this is rose-tinted glasses, nostalgia goggles, whatever you want to call it, but Claydol feels like a very purposeful and inspired design, and I think a lot of other Pokemon lack that in future gens. And I guess
Including
Dugtrio was
Dugtrio.
even before. Yeah, but I mean, Dugtrio is just it's I don't know. What do you think, Jim? What do you think on this one?
It's an interesting thing. Both of these Pokemon are only OU in Gen 3, because in later gens, Arena Trap is banned completely, and Claydol
Dugtrio's
just
pretty much Uber.
isn't very good in later generations. It's excellent in its debut game of Gen 3, but it sucks later. I think even though Dugtrio is one-dimensional in what it does, it's literally just a trapper. There's like Bulky Dug, different moveset variations like Beat Up and Sunny Day and stuff.
That's true too.
There is a lot of depth in like the impact Dugtrio has and how you use it, and the effect it has on games, which I think is really fun to use and to play around with.
Yeah, it's definitely like on surface level, it is one-dimensional, but like if you're using Dugtrio and every time you're momentum sinking when you get a kill, it's like you have to be careful with that type of stuff. Like I remember when it was allowed in Gen 4, it was like it wasn't nearly as interesting, I would say. Because what it was trapping was easier for it to kill, and it could also run Focus Sash, which is not very fun to, because then he gets to stay around longer. Claydol's also cool because it's one of the guys in XD. It gets a unique move. Refresh is only from that game. So from my perspective, that's a point. That's one of the that's actually the first Pokemon I ever RNG'd in Pokemon XD when I was translating those guides from the very old GeoCities Japanese website. So I actually that's another thing that makes it interesting. Because it kind of wouldn't be what it doesn't run Refresh that much these days, but it would definitely be a nail in the coffin for it if it didn't have it, I would say.
Yeah.
It's an
Have
important
access to
option.
it.
It's an important option.
Yeah,
And again, like even just like in a play, like again, I feel like Dugtrio is so carried by that choice band item that like outside of competitive, like for example, like in Battle Factory, oh my gosh, the thing is just horrendous. It just doesn't kill anything. Like Fissure is potent, and it's cool that Dugtrio does have Fissure and Claydol doesn't. But I mean, it's still just like I don't know. Like I just think Claydol is just. Like, yes, in OU, Dugtrio is versatile, but, like, Claydol overall, I think, just supersedes it for me.
That's fair.
I'm in agreement, actually. I just think I like it on its design. I like it for its uniqueness, and I like it for, like, what it's capable of. It's more what I don't know. Games with Claydol, when I'm using Claydol, it's very fun to think about how to use that thing, because it's not, like, such a big blob. It can easily take any hit, so it's also very interesting to use it as like a wall spinner type deal.
Claydol it is.
I'm beat, folks. I was gonna vote for Dugtrio, but it doesn't matter now. I like what Dugtrio, how it shapes the metagame. I also like its simple and sort of funny visual design. It's three moles. They're angry.
I do like them being angry like that. They're very cute.
And I like that this silly looking Pokemon has such controversy associated with in competitive. Like it's banned in multiple gens. In Gen 3, even some people want it banned. I disagree.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy it in Gen 3.
Like Dugtrio looks like a group of annoying kids and kind of acts like a group of annoying kids.
Yeah, those are the bullies. They're gonna
Exactly,
steal
there
your
you go.
lunch money.
The visual lines up with the gameplay.
Yeah.
This one's
This is tough.
This is a matchup of the Titans.
this is a crazy one.
I know
this
what
is a crazy
I'm going.
one.
I know what I'm going.
I
though.
actually love Zapdos. Zapdos is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time because of how you want to talk about versatile. You talk about Zapdos. Now in even in in every gen, well, I don't know about Gen 1 and 2, but in literally every gen this thing is good in, you can run literally every set except physical. And I mean in Gen 3 it can kind of
Well, there's mixed.
get away with that.
Zap is pretty good actually.
Yeah, mixed
Drill
Zapdos,
Peck's
yeah.
mixed Zapdos is good.
Yeah.
But like later on, like you can run offensive Zap, you can run special defensive Zap, you can run physical defensive Zap. You could literally run 3 fully viable sets in Gen like 4, 6, 7, like and 9. Or I don't know if it's in 9, but 8.
The same can be said for Ments though in Gen 3. Like
Both
Ments
are very
is, like-
versatile. Like both extremely
I know.
versatile.
I'm
Pokemon.
just talking about why I love Zap. I'm just gushing. I love
Yeah.
that Pokemon. I have literally like 9 competitive Zapdos RNG'd across the games because I like it so much.
That's so sick. Yeah. The other thing with another funny thing with Zapdos is that that physical set, like in just to bring some real Gen 3 1v1 in here, is that part of the reason that Zapdos was banned was because of its physical choice band mix-up where like it could like drill peck Sceptile, you could HP fighting a Tyranitar and they got a bulk, and it's like, I don't know, I just think that's funny, but for me, I know I'm going Salamence. Salamence is my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon.
Oh wow.
I think it is the epitome of simplicity but badassery at the same time. Like it is just sick. I imagine the animation in Gen 3 and its cry, it's just like, stuff is going down when Salamence enters the field. It's just such a, even the fact that like it gets random stuff like Wish, like in competitive, not only is that super cool on like some like 4E teams and just teams that need some random recovery, but it's also just like, just the fact that this thing gets Wish, the fact that it's like, I think the idea is that it was like I don't know how to say it, Bagon is wishing to fly. So I think that's also why Bagon, I believe, gets Wish, and like that's kind of the concept of
it's actually an event move. It only got it in 2005 in Japan.
Yeah. Is it based off of Bagon wanting to fly though, I believe, right? Like
I think so, yeah.
I would think, right? And like it gets iron defense from Shelgon, which is also like so
100%.
sick, and like I don't know. Salamence is just so cool, but yeah.
So we're tied then. You voted for Zapdos?
I'm voting for Zapdos, yeah. They both
I'm on Ments, yeah.
They do also both get XD moves. Mence gets Refresh from Pokemon XD, and Zapdos gets Baton Pass and Extra Sensory. Not that you would use Extra Sensory.
I mean, Refresh on Ments has been used as Jim knows, like a DD Refreshments for like Milo matchup.
Refreshments is one of my favorite sets in the game. I love it.
I literally saw someone yesterday sweep with it in ADV Revival when I was looking through
It's
replays.
so good. That's so good. I love it. It destroys Milotic and defensive Starmie especially because they can only status you. They can only status you.
This dude used it to smoke a Moltress. He stayed in on Will-O-Wisp 2 turns and it missed 2 turns in a row, and I was like, what's this guy doing? He's just risking it, and then he refreshed after the 3rd one hit, and I was like, oh my god. He's cooking.
Gaming. So I'm
going with Zapdos.
I'm the one deciding here.
Yes.
I think it's like they're both fantastic Pokemon in every way. I think Salamence has a slight edge for me. I think it's just an epic Pokemon all around. It's a beautiful Pokemon. It's a delight to use, reasonable to play against. Sometimes Zapdos can be a bit more frustrating. Like Rest Zap is sometimes just unkillable with certain teams, even though
it does also sprint Thunder Wave.
Spadef Rest Zap. Oh my gosh.
With the pressure stalling, and it's also like Zap is it's bulkier than you think. It's sometimes hard to actually pin it down and get rid of it. I feel like Salamence is more fun to play against, and also more fun to use a little bit. And I enjoy its the sets it does have. And like Wish Salamence is cool.
I'll go with Zapdos.
I'll go with Salamence.
I respect Zapdos. I mean, I feel like Zapdos would beat a lot of the Pokemon on
This
this.
is this is a balance of this is a battle of the Titans. This is like a randomized seed screwed over the people who would have made it into quarterfinals.
That's the thing. This one is a tough one. This is going to be a tough one overall. Because, like,
yeah,
the last one I did was Bug-type bracket, regional forms bracket. You got, like, Galarian Stunfisk up against, you know, Alolan Ninetales. Who's going to win that one, folks? But this is, you know, every Pokemon Gen 3 OU is epic. Like, I like all of them. Honestly. Yeah, here's an interesting one. Here's an interesting one. Magneton versus Jirachi.
On surface level, I want to say Jirachi because, you know, mythical, legendary type beat. But Magneton is pretty cool in this tier with Endure sets, double status. It could run multiple different hidden... It can run, like, at least 2 hidden powers. No, 3 hidden powers viably, I would say. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just a cool guy. It's very versatile for... It's like similar to Dugtrio, but I think even more, personally. Like, Dugtrio can do a lot. I think Magneton can do even more. Or that's what it seems like to me anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's almost like the tier feels like it would maybe be fine without Dugtrio, but like Magneton is like low-key the saving grace of Gen 3 in some ways.
Magneton adds a lot. That, it's like entire archetypes are viable and strategies are viable because Magneton is in the tier. Because it can just get rid of Skarmory and Forretress.
Yeah. It's so crazy that like it is incredibly lucky that that we have Magneton, because like if it was just like nose pass with Magnet Pole, or like it's just so funny that the biggest physical wall, the only other Pokemon that has Magnet Pole is a Pokemon that is so incredibly equipped to defeat Skarmory. It's like it's almost like they did it on purpose.
Yeah, this is one of the things that makes me think maybe there's some intention behind the design of Gen 3. Like, would they give this Magnet Pole? Did they know Skarmory would be a problem without this? Probably not, but maybe it's a happy accident, you know? It's a perfect thing to exist, right?
First tournaments officially run for Gen 3 were like 3v3 singles. So, with the Latis were allowed. So it's like that's like a very crazy metagame, to say the least.
Yeah. Jirachi though, I mean, like I want to hate Jirachi for a lot of reasons, right? Like personally, like for example, I mean, like in ADV OU, it's like the Serene Grace Fire Punch and Ice Punch is like just it's just annoying. Same with Body Slam. And then, I mean, if you go outside of Gen 3, right? Everybody
knows, it's a problem in Gen 4. It's a problem.
The Iron Head flinching Jirachis, and like even like, you know, and it's just like, it's been a nuisance in some tiers. I like its design a lot, though. It feels like a Pokemon that's right up your alley, Blissey. I mean, like, I feel like it a lot. I feel like this is like one of your favorites. I don't know.
It's not, but I like it a lot. But that's just because I spent a lot of time doing stuff in the games with it. Like, I have done both of the RNG manips for Jirachi, one from the Coliseum bonus disc and one from the EU and Australian copy of Pokemon Channel, are very unique and interesting to do. And I helped develop the tool for the channel one. And then also for my e-reader cards, I programmed like the channel Jirachi in the e-reader card. That was really fun. And I like using Jirachi. Jirachi is one of those like glue type mons where you can kind of put it up to patch, like, it's like really bulky. It can do a lot of different stuff. So you can kind of put it on a team if you're feeling a little bit lost when you're building. And so I really do like that aspect about it, but I hate fighting this thing in Gen 4. It sucks. People run Body Slam and like Iron Head just on special attacking sets just to paralyze you. It's like insane. I hate it.
Yeah. I think it's crazy. When I saw the bracket before we started recording, I was like, oh, Jirachi's gonna win this. I think I'm voting for Magneton because the unsung hero of Gen 3 I think I'm voting for the Magnets.
I think I also am voting for Magneton. I don't like playing against Jirachi in Gen 4. And even though I like a lot of other aspects about it, I do like Magneton more. It's a fun mon to use.
Well, then it's unanimous. Because I'm also voting for Magneton. Although I like
3 people, 3 magnets.
I think Jirachi's slightly overhated. Like, it does add a lot to Gen 3 OU in my opinion. It's not as annoying as it becomes later.
No, I don't mind it. Fighting it in Gen 3 is not anywhere near. Like, sometimes the Fire Punch burns are annoying, but like, it's not that bad. Like, it's Gen 4 that really is. I don't like fighting it in very much. In Gen 3, I pretty much like it as a concept in the meta.
There are some times where you just horrendous versus Wish Toxic Protect Jirachi. Not even any of the Serene Grace stuff. Just like a bulky Jirachi. Just sits there and never dies.
Why is my Swampert losing to this? Like,
Yeah, it just takes earthquakes and never dies. So
Yeah.
annoying, but yeah.
My first RMT ever on Smogon, back when RMTs were done, was at a Magneton on. It was called Bees and Magnets. It was a Mega Beedrill Magneton team in Gen 6 UU. So there's some lore from my end, but let's get to the next one.
Good team.
Oh.
Swampert versus Hariyama.
Oh, this is tough. Why
What do you
this,
think? What do you
man?
think? Both
This-
epic.
I really
Both
like
epic.
Swampert.
Swampert's so good, but I love Hariyama. Like, I think Hariyama is so cool. It's just, again, this might be the nostalgia goggles, but this is specifically the sprite. I think the 3D sprites make Hariyama look so stupid. I think
They do.
Hariyama in the anime also doesn't give me this vibe from what I've like seen, but this sprite and also the animation that goes with this sprite, where it's like the big step. It's like, I mean, this mon just means business. The back sprite is sick. I don't know where you ranked it, Jim, but it better have been in like A. I mean, like back
think it
sprite
was
is
a good one.
phenomenal on
I
this
think it was
thing.
a good one.
Like, I love Hariyama, but like you're going up against Swampert, dude. That's just a bad draw.
Swampert's kind of the goat.
I'll let you guys talk about it because I think I could be convinced it goes. I don't know. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I feel like Jim didn't get to talk a lot on the last one, so I want to let Jim go talk about these two.
I talk about Swampert all the time on my channel as like, I always say it's like the perfect defensive Pokemon design because it's got the fantastic typing, but it has the clear weakness of grass, so it's targetable. It doesn't have too much healing, like it doesn't have roost to recover, whatever. So it's not that hard to like chip it down. It's vulnerable to spikes. Its health is limited, so every time you're using, it's like going to be really reliable and good and do something, but it's not like a Toxapex or whatever. You switch to it, it never dies. You get infinite healing. It's the kind of defensive Pokemon that just enhances the game, where it provides answers to threats you need to answer, and it also creates interesting gameplay where it's like the chess aspect of Pokemon is really highlighted, or like maintaining enough health to check this, and like don't switch in on spikes too much to take big neutral hits, don't get punched, whatever. Swampert just enhances the game so much, and the set variety is through the roof. Like offensive Swampert with Focus Punch, defense Swampert with like Toxic Refresh, something in the middle. You can really mix and match Swampert. It's one of the most customizable Pokemon in terms of like flex moves. Chuck Roar on there, Toxic Refresh, Punch, whatever you need.
I've been really enjoying offensive Pert lately too, like mixed offense
it's really
Pert.
good.
It's been very fun to use, yeah.
And like Endeavor Swampert, Endeavor Swampert exists too, so it could be hyper offense. One of those Pokemon that just fits on.
What a randomly cool move.
yeah. It fits on every archetype, right? It fits on everything. It could do anything.
Like Swampert is so strong. Swampert can do it all, but you know what? Swampert's also relatable because just like Swampert has HP Grass as its Achilles heel, we also have our own Achilles heels. And so Swampert is more like us than we think, I think. You know, Swampert's relatable.
That's damn true. Hariyama, on the other hand, has no weaknesses,
I agree.
making him unrelatable.
Yes.
Just like
Hariyama whirlwinds problems away.
That's cowardly.
But
That's cowardly.
knocks them off maybe. And Swampert just accepts it. Sometimes Swampert might click counter, but often Swampert just accepts the HP, you know?
That's actually one of the things about Hariyama that is not, I won't say the word frustrating, but it's almost like, you know how you fight a Pokemon that like has a sleep move and you're like, oh, I don't want to put anything to sleep. Like Hariyama is a lead and you have a lead that can't like OHKO it or force it out. You're like, I don't want anything to be knocked off. All these items are so important. So I don't. He adds something really unique to Gen 3 because there's really almost no Pokemon get that move. But I generally prefer Swampert. Jim did a great job talking about it. I've been using it so much lately in a million different sets. I just love it.
And like even outside of Gen 3 OU, right? I mean, like Swampert just has this legacy behind it. I mean, like
Kind of goated in Gen 4 as well.
The premier playthrough Pokemon in Gen 3 is without a doubt Swampert. I mean, the speed runs and then like just regular playthroughs. I mean, like everybody just demolished everybody with Swampert, and it just, I don't know. Swampert's just. I love Hariyama, but like I've got to go with Swampert. I mean, it's Swampert.
I go with Swampert too. I like it too much.
Yeah, I would.
Sorry, Hariyama.
Knockoff is a little annoying, isn't it? I like that it's the only good knockoff user in the form. Feels balanced.
Yeah, if there was more knockoff users, I would not enjoy that move. But it's just this guy.
Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna say it right now. For me, it's instantly Metagross. That's my Metagross. It is just so cool. It is so
It is cool.
It is like if you were 5 years old and you wanted to like create a Pokemon, this would be like you just want a giant robot with psychic powers that can fly. It's just incredibly angry and cool and tough. And then in the game, it operates the same way as it's just this dude that clicks mash, it clicks boom. Metagross like makes its way with it. It just Metagross does what it wants when it wants. I love Metagross. Metagross easily. But I'll let you guys talk. But I love Metagross so much.
This is a really hard one for me. I really like both these
Celebi.
Dude, I like both these Pokemon a lot, both like in the context of like their design. Like Celebi's really cute. I like its design, but like also the way both of these Pokemon, like what they add to Gen 3 is like they're both very valuable. Gen 3 is one of the only metas where you have like actual meaningful usage of Baton Pass that isn't just like a dry pass. And I think the way it is in the tier is like really healthy and cool for the most part. And so I like that Celebi can do that. I like that it has like a random, like again, Baton Pass lets you avoid Pursuit, which is really cool. You can't do that with U-Turn in later gens. For some reason, Baton Pass is programmed like specifically to ignore it. And I like that this is like a weird, like I like Leech Seed, like the way it can handle Blissey. I think that's really cool. Like having special attackers that can handle Blissey in a unique way is also really cool. And I like how versatile, they're both very versatile. Like Metagross can do mixed set. Metagross has boom, obviously super cool. I like its design. I'm kind of undecided. So if Jim doesn't pick Metagross, I might be swayed, but I don't know. I really like both these Pokemon. I like their design.
You might be surprised to hear it, folks. I'm picking Celebi on this one. I prefer it.
Actually,
Metagross,
not surprised because of how much you hate Meteor Mash attack raise.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I hate Meteor Mash attack raise. It's one of the blemishes on an otherwise very good metagame is the fact that there's a 20% chance this can just defeat resists. It's idiotic. I don't like it at all.
Fair.
But to give Metagross credit, it is amazing how Metagross can enable so many different iterative strategies. Like in my interview with C, Metagross is kind of the thing holding together all of C's crazy nonsense. Like without Metagross, I don't think that, that Electrode team would have been possible, or like the Lunatone team, whatever. Metagross really allows you to get creative in the team builder because it does so much in one single Pokemon slot with the defense it provides and the offense it provides. And there's skill in using Explosion properly and the situations you forcing things in. But then Mash Attack Rose is just damn annoying. But also credit to Metagross for the set variety, like Mixed Metagross, Banjil, Bulky, Impish, Toxic Metagross.
It has like the perfect stat spread, this Pokemon, actually. When you ever look at its stats, it's like it's hard to make a Pokemon with a better stat spread than what Metagross has in Gen 3.
Oh, just look at that sprite. Oh, that dude, it's so mean. You know what's funny? Like Mash Raise is very annoying. The thing in 80v1v1 that people were annoyed by with Metagross was actually the move Dynamic Punch. Because first off, Dynamic Punch is your 100% way to beat Blissey, because Blissey can live a banded mash and click counter. So Dynamic Punch was the Blissey answer, but also 50% of it, or like sometimes you could just like finesse past like a Swampert or like a Vaporeon. And so it's I don't know, it's just funny that Metagross does have these blemishes that like, I'm still voting Metagross though. I'm sorry.
It's still very cool. So cool. Other than that, like that's my Gen 3 or your brain talking. In terms of like the visual design, all of its cool options, it's a wonderful Pokemon.
I think I go with Celebi here because I made the e-reader card for it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh, that's true.
Metagross out on round 1.
I made the e-reader card for it. That thing, I spent so much time learning how to program for it. It's like I have a very big fondness for doing that project because I had never really done much comp sci stuff before that. So that's putting it over the edge for me.
I didn't mention the e-reader card because I knew that would sway them. So I was just like, fucking damn it. Oh, this is
always painful. The e-reader. Now, I think Celebi is low-key one of the most nuanced Pokemon of all time. Celebi and Gen 3 OU. The way that this thing keeps evolving is crazy. Like every year, there is new Celebi optimization. Like there was the wave of like offensive Leech Seed 3 attack Celebi. There's like Carmine Leech Celebi. There's so much Celebi. There's Swords Dance Celebi.
It gets Heal Bell.
Yeah, it gets Heal Bell. It gets like
Shockwave.
What? Okay, well, heal Bell's
Swords Dance Ancient Power.
Yeah, my friend swept somebody with that not too long ago.
Shockwave.
No, not
Let's
Shockwave.
go.
With Ancient Power. It got the Omni boost. Yeah.
That's a great option. So it hits Raw Zap and Moltress.
Yeah.
You lure in. Huge.
Yeah, I'm going Celebi.
A lot of people dislike Celebi because it's like defensive and it's got natural cure, it's got leech seed. But I feel like the more familiar you get with Gen 3, the more you realize situations where you can just like take the leech seed. Even though leech seed is pretty freak progress, like you can outpace the progress with like a Skarmory Spike or like a Zapdos Pressure Stall.
Really well.
If you're running Regice. I think if you're a gamer, you could play around the leech. You got to understand that like it's making progress, but it's not like killing you. You know, you can take the leech seed.
It's not like
the short
Super
term.
Fang every time they click leech seed. It's not like
If there's gonna be a free progress move, I think the leech seed is like a balanced one. There's also immunity to it as well. So
and you got a target on your back, Celebi. I'll just have you know.
Celebi gets eaten alive by Spikes and Sand and Dugtrio HP bug. I feel like it's also balanced in every way and very interesting in the metagame and adds a lot.
I like the way it handles Blissey too. I think that's super interesting.
Which is important. You need
Blissey. This is a good one.
I've never seen these two Pokemon head to head or thought about them compared to each other, but this is an interesting one, isn't it? Raikou versus Flygon.
I feel like I like Flygon here. It's just a more interesting Pokemon here for me. Raikou's cool. Like look at it, obviously, duh. But I feel like it's kind of one-dimensional in this gen. Like I feel like it's not. Like to me, Flygon's like a very versatile mon. Can do the. It's kind of like a weird alternate universe Swampert. Do you know what I mean? Like where it has the one clear weakness. Yeah, it's got the one clear weakness. It's your rock resist. It is a little easier to use because it's levitating, but it's way less bulky for that purpose. But you can be offensive with this thing. You can do mixed with this thing. Its stats aren't overloaded, so it's not like Metagross where it literally can like hit you with a ultra powerful moves. It can't really do that. So it's kind of annoying because it's kind of tends to be a toxic staller, but I still kind of like it anyway. Super checked by Skarm pretty much. So it's not, I usually don't think it's too tough to fight. I just think it's more interesting in its role in the meta. And I also quite like its design. I like the bug goggles.
Its design is so sick.
Cool goggles. I like that a lot. Yeah, Raikou one-dimensional. Cool design, but that's all it's got going for me.
I love design. Flygon's and like just again imagining when you face a Flygon in game and the cry like the and then like it moves around and it's just like the whole like I feel like Flygon is just a fan favorite. I mean, if you think of a mega that didn't happen, everybody thinks about where was Mega Flygon, right? Like, and there's a reason for that. We think Flygon is cool. This thing is so neat, and not that Raikou isn't cool. I mean, Raikou is like really cool. Honestly, I think Raikou is really cool, and like, I don't know. I think I just lean Flygon, and probably because it's Gen 3 oriented. But Raikou, I mean, like. Raikou is again, definitely a little bit more one-dimensional, but I will say in terms of like sometimes in some 1v1 scenarios, such as like in Factory, there's some really interesting scenarios with like there's a substitute Raikou set that you kind of have to play around. Substitute double team rain dance shenanigans are really interesting on this fast threatening Pokemon. In 1v1, there's like substitute protect and like how to PP stall correctly and interesting stuff like that. But like, I think Flygon is still just like, Flygon's just cooler. I mean, it's more interesting and I don't know. I'm also on the Flygon.
A more core part of the metagames. Oh, you ranked. Raikou is not. Raikou's a fringe pick. But I'm kind of on a Raikou train recently. I used to disrespect this Pokemon because it gets beat by Blissey a lot and like
Dugtrio.
Yeah, it's Dug Weak. But this Pokemon is polarizing in that it can just destroy. It's kind of a noob killer. I feel like new player teams are not prepared for Raikou and they just get eaten alive by Raikou. Yeah. Which is fun. When I'm playing on stream, I sometimes just chuck a Raikou on. When people request like, oh, Jim, can you use Trap-inch offense, please? And I'm, okay, chuck a Raikou on, the Raikou will carry. Let's go.
Trap-inch, same attack as Flygon for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
should have put Trap-inch
it's interesting. It's why Raikou is so good in Generation 3 Draft League, because what makes Raikou not very good in OU at times is that Raikou is beaten by a combination of like all the basics, but when you only have one of them, Raikou is all of a sudden a top dog. Like, I mean, I guess it's more of a cat, but still, it's like I don't know, is it? I don't even know. Either way.
So Sabertooth Tiger, the comments.
Yeah, Tiger, yeah. But Raikou is like really good when, you start to use these more like Zoomer offense teams with like Vaporeon and like stuff. I mean, like Raikou just like, Raikou also probably enjoys the seeming rise of Charizard is what I've been seeing a little bit, and like these just more flimsy-ish offensive stuff. I feel like Raikou, like, yeah, loves capitalizing on that. But I'm
The
still.
speed
I
tier
think
is
we're
cool
going,
in
I'm
Gen
going
3,
Flygon.
It's very
one of the
fast for Gen 3.
It's one of the few special attackers with Carmine that can outrun Gengar, which is pretty important.
I have more
But-
personal history with Raikou, but like, I think I'm still voting Flygon here. But I almost got swayed back to Raikou. I think both of you were voting Flygon anyway, though, right?
Yeah, I voted for Flygon. I think I prefer it as well. It adds more to the format. It enables unique archetypes too, like Superman. And you can even go like offensive Flygon is kind of interesting too. Choice band and like the substitute attack kind of cool. There's like mixed Flygon as well that Blue's Energy is using a lot.
In Gen 4, Flygon, one of the only ever times I've ever seen Tailwind in singles was with like a Tailwind sweeper Flygon. It was insane.
It's epic.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a cool set.
Oh,
This one's got to be no. I mean, Moltress is cool, but I mean, when you look at literally the head-to-head directly, it simply falls to Rock Slide.
Yeah, Tyranitar would Rock Slide. Well, then what if Will-O-Wisp and
However-
then Rock Slide miss?
but if
True.
you're Jimothy Cool and you're on turn 1 in a game versus
Oh, versus
you know what
Zachary. Yeah. HP fighting.
Banded Moltres lead. Oh, what an iconic game turn 1 thing that happened. Yeah, that was it's made the rounds. Never again will we think about lead Moltres differently, but Jim was just like, surely I can stay in.
I didn't know about that one yet. Nobody told me. Nobody told me about that.
What tournament was that in? Was that in ADVPL?
I can't remember. I was in.
ROA
Yes,
PL?
it was in my first ADV PL. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's what
know
it
it was
was.
like a pretty big ADV tournament. Like it meant something a bit. Yeah, that was funny. But I too am voting Tyranitar. I don't know, but
That's regrettable because I like Moltres. It's cool.
Moltres is very cool. It's before Stealth Rocks, and Moltres does add a lot to the format. I think it's like a weird. Really, is it the? Oh no, it and Gengar are really the only Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah,
does
yeah.
Gengar get
Weezing, I
Will-O-Wisp?
guess.
Oh, Weezing's not that bad, but I do think Moltres is very cool for what it can do in this format. It does have a variety of sets. I like Overheat. Overheat's one of the few I don't know, really strong moves that doesn't have a big accuracy problem or some conditional weird thing. Like
I love
Mega Horn
Overheat,
can miss. The Focus Punch has the turn wind up thing. This is just blast you with Overheat, and it's pretty cool. You don't see it too often. Like you can actually put meaningful pressure on Blissey with Overheat plus Spike. You know what I mean? Like not a lot of special attackers can do that.
I love Overheat Moltres.
You know what? Actually, I'm switching to Moltres.
You're voting
Oh my
Moltres?
gosh! What are you guys serious? Let's not do. This is Tyranitar. This is like. I was sitting back in my chair waiting for the next matchup, and now you're switching up on Tyranitar is like the goat thing. I mean, like sand is such a cool thing. Tyranitar's mixed options in OU. It's so cool in game. It's like, look at that sprite. Like Tyranitar is like. The legacy of Tyranitar's in shambles right now if Moltres gets 2 votes.
Maybe it's because I've just been I don't know how to say it. It's like you take it for granted. You see Tyranitar all the time. Like it is cool. It has a lot of different sets. Obviously, I appreciate a Tyranitar. I actually, funnily enough, I'm not too big on. It might just be the sprite, but I'm not too big on the design. I think this is not a very good sprite for Tyranitar. Looks like it's got scoliosis. Not feeling too well. I don't think.
He's so big that he can't fit in the screen. He's like, he's just Godzilla. I mean, I don't know. You guys are really gonna vote Moltres.
No, I've got a fondness for this sprite because I've seen it so much.
Same. I think that's why as well. Again, it's probably not a good sprite.
I love Moltres, but it's got to be Tyranitar. It's got to be.
Yes.
I'll stay on Moltres. I'm not actually going to switch.
I don't even want to talk about Tyranitar. It's just the goat.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
talk about
very.
It later. I'll go in more depth later.
Yes.
Fair enough. It does. You definitely don't need to talk about it anymore. Everybody knows.
All right. So me and Jim can talk about the next one because I don't know if.
Oh my god, am I kicked off? It's Blissey. I didn't realize.
It's Blissey.
You know, funny thing is, I actually don't even like this Pokemon that much. My name is literally just like a meme,
You don't even like
Blissey?
Blissey?
What?
Well, I don't dislike Blissey. It's just not a particular. I don't have a problem with it. It's just not a particular favorite. It's literally just from something somebody said when I was in high school, and I found the screenshot of it, and I thought it was funny, and I sort of impromptu made that my Smash tag and my YouTube name, and it just stuck.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I love Blissey.
No, I don't know that I like Jolteon that much either, but.
I love Blissey. Like
You don't like Jolteon?
I have.
Jolteon's cool.
Do you like Jolteon more?
And
I like
Blissey,
them
I don't
both.
actually think so. I don't know.
Or Jim, do you like Jolteon more?
I like both of these Pokemon a lot.
Blissey's kind of cool in this gen, to be honest with you. In later gens, it kind of has to just be like fat blob does nothing. I like that in this gen, Blissey gets offensive pressure. It's kind of cool.
Gen 3 Blissey is the coolest Blissey. That's for sure.
I can't speak to Gen 2, but it is cooler than every other gen that comes after 3.
Gen 2 Blissey is the lamest Blissey.
Okay, I don't know anything about it, so... yeah, Gen 3 is very good.
It runs light screen and like, what does it run? Present? I guess that's it.
No, it does. I thought it was just lights. I thought it was just on those like really stally teams.
I think it can, but in reality it doesn't really. It runs like Heal Bell light screen and soft boiled.
Why is present there? Is this just because it
like
can randomly do like
it can randomly do a lot of damage? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's like a glitch. I think Cherry Bong probably has a video on it. I think, but
I think Frieza had a video on that.
Yeah, man, I really like. So like, I feel like Blissey was just kind of Blissey for me until I got into Battle Factory and I realized that a lot of the Blissey sets, like, they're very defensive, they're very like stally, but the dynamics in Battle Factory specifically, playing with Blissey and versus Blissey and having to stall it out or use it in stall scenarios, just really like makes me, instead of like when I was playing some Gen 3 meta games, like either 1v1, OU, or like whatever other random crazy stuff I was getting into, Blissey was always like, ugh, it's Blissey. But Battle Factory made me love this thing, and I've got to vote for Blissey. I respect Jolteon, think Jolteon's cool, but like, I like Blissey. I've turned around on Blissey, but I don't know. I'm voting for Blissey unless someone has some insane statement.
I've got thoughts on both of these Pokemon. I've got thoughts. Blissey, I think, is the classic noob take is that Blissey is lame, but I think that the better you get, you realize Blissey is epic. Blissey is a wonderful Pokemon in Gen 3. Similar to Swampert, I think it's actually like a good defensive Pokemon design. I think it has the clear weakness of no defense. I think it also gets worn down by the most fundamental thing here being sand and spikes. I think that it is not like an infinite healing machine and it can get very easily overwhelmed. A lot of special attackers can even overwhelm it pretty easily. Like Leech Seed hits it, it gets forced out by Toxic. I think actually playing around Blissey is really fun in Gen 3. Forcing it in, bringing down the Blissey, and then when the Blissey goes down, you just break through with whatever special threats you have. It can also get targeted by the Dug beat up stuff. And Blissey itself...
have you ever been cooked by Snatch Blissey? I got defeated very hard.
I love that set. That's such a cool one.
I had not seen it in many moons, and I was setting up for a Suicune endgame and it just Snatch Calm Mind, it Snatch Rest, and I was like, well, I was unaware of your technology.
Yeah, but Snatch...
You know the legend of Tail Whip Blissey?
No, I'm unaware.
Tail Whip Blissey goes crazy.
Jim knows about... I'll let Jim explain it.
It was an Arctic Breeze set in Kalos Invitational. The Tail Whip was to defeat the last Pokemon Suicune by it, because it's the last Pokemon, so they can't switch out. So you can just lower their defense to the minimum possible, KO them with any physical attack.
That's so awesome.
Kalos' reaction was whoever, I forgot who was narrating
it. Was Kalos narrating, and he was just like flabbergasted for like a minute.
Kalos did not know how to comprehend it.
That's very awesome.
Yeah. So what do you think of Jolteon, Jim?
It is the Jolteon, when I first got into Gen 3, Jolteon Spikes was the thing that made it click for me, like made everything make sense. Because it's just a very straightforward game plan to like make Spikes Jolteon this fast threat that forces things in, and you can roar the Blissey coming in and stuff. It's a simple Pokemon, it's just fast guy that abuses Spikes, but people, when I got into the game at least, people regarded Jolteon as like the skill Pokemon, where you can sometimes like just roar the Blissey in every time, and just chip a Blissey down to like 2% off purely spikes, just off reads with the roars. And like Kurtz is famous for using Jolt spikes very effectively. In the modern metagame, I think Jolteon opinion is down because everyone loves Claydol now, and it really sucks into Claydol because Claydol is Levitate, doesn't take any spikes damage, it chip heals in the sand, it's immune to electric, and it takes like nothing from the hidden powers. Because it's got such good special defense, and you can just get earthquaked. But Claydol, the rise of Claydol has been a disaster for Jolteon. But there's still ways to use Jolteon, like you can use it alongside like offensive Celebi, who has a good matchup into Claydol, and other ways to punish Claydol, like offensive Suicune, stuff like that. As long as you just consider the Claydol matchup, or even Toxic Jolt has been used a bit, because you just toxic the Claydol coming in. But I think I would still give it to Blissey. I think Blissey is so... People don't realize how cool it is in Gen 3. The fact that you have to run special attack investment, you can one-hit Dug, You can like run Bolt Beam Blissey, and then Blissey is a threat.
It is
Bolt Beam
actually
Toxic
quite a
Blissey
threat.
with special attack is tough to switch in against. I like, Flamethrower Blissey, Fire Blast Blissey,
It's
Counter
cool.
Blissey can randomly defeat a Snorlax, Body Slam.
This has happened. This has happened.
Snatch Blissey, as mentioned. Snatch is an epic move that they deleted because they're cowards. They hate good game design. Snatch
Snatch is an epic move.
can take Calm Mind from Suicune. Like, they don't Calm Mind, I Calm Mind. And it could do...
It takes rest too.
It takes specific moves, but...
It's a very strange list of moves that it can
It should take more.
But they thought about it.
More.
They thought about it because it doesn't take spikes. If it took spikes, that'd be broken, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
priority
that'd be
move.
They knew that would be crazy. So they... I think that they knew how to make that move.
It's interesting.
They were doing something with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Wish, Blissey, Aroma, all the utility you could want, which... That sounds lame. People don't like anything defensive, but like you could just... Blissey kind of has full move slot syndrome too. You got to be careful about how to fit everything you want on the Blissey. So...
Well, Wish is also cool in this gen because it's before the change to it. In modern gen, if you use Wish on Blissey, it heals the Pokemon based on Blissey's HP. It's 50% of Blissey's HP in like Gen 9.
Yeah,
I don't know when they changed. I think they changed that in 5. But like in this one, the Pokemon is not going to just go to full health. Like they just get 50, which is like not unimpactful, but it's to me it's a better dynamic when it's just healing 50% of its own HP. So I think it is also like not like a cheesy, easy full heal move.
I never thought about it much, but I think I do prefer the Gen 3 Wish because also like weak Pokemon can Wish and it's high value.
Yeah, Jolteon can Wish effectively.
Yeah, Jolteon can Wish, Salamence, Pikachu, whatever.
Yeah, surely Pikachu, of course.
That Wish Flareon that was brought in SPL once.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I think I would go with Blissey, folks.
I think we're all in accord.
I like Blissey.
It's me.
All right, this matchup right here, Claydol versus Salamence. What do you think about Claydol versus Salamence?
I mean, I'm all in on that.
You're an all in on Mence kind of gamer. I don't know. This is in the context of Gen 3 OU. This is like I actually like both these guys a lot, but design wise, dude, I don't know.
They're both so good.
I'm fully split. Actually,
Salamence is like a childhood favorite, but Claydol is creative. Like it's a very unique Pokemon.
Yeah. I think I'm sticking to Claydol. I like Claydol.
Fair enough.
I like Claydol. I like Explosion move. It's definitely not as versatile as Mence, but
it's surprisingly
Mence...
versatile, and there's like cool adaptations people make. Like EV spreads can vary a lot with Claydol and like Rock
It can
Slide,
get pretty
Claydol,
offensive,
Shadow
like
Ball.
kind of like Blissey.
Yeah.
Like it can start running like a lot of attack investment. For
That's
some
what's
reason.
good about it is that like people realized you can be more aggressive with it and proactive with it. Like it used to be really passive back in the day with Refresh Claydol. But people realized like you got to run attack on it and like
Shadow Ball a Gengar.
Yeah,
get your value.
Salamence can headbutt. Claydol can't headbutt. I don't know. Seems clear, but.
I can't believe Claydol can't headbutt.
It does have quite a large noggin, to say the least.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I prefer Claydol. It's not like a big margin. I do really like Mence, especially in Gen 3. This guy, kind of cringe in Gen 4. Don't love him there. But I really do like Claydol in this gen. I like its design, too.
He does become kind of way more one-dimensional later on. Even in Gen 5, he's just Scarf Moxie. That's it.
Oh, well, in Gen 4, he's not one-dimensional. He's like God. He's like, he can do anything. He's like, he can run any set and you can never see it. Like, Outrage and Draco Meteor really just push dragons over the edge and stop being as interesting. Like in this gen, like, Salamence breaks a Blissey and it doesn't kill it, and it's like you have to actually be mindful with the moves that you're clicking. He kind of stops doing that later.
Yeah, the fact to give Blissey some props as well, Blissey can check Salamence. Think about that, folks. Blissey can do a Salamence check in Gen 3. That's not the case later on. That's not the case.
Random, but I think
I like Claydol. It's close for me, though. I'm happy for either of these to move on, personally. But I like Claydol slightly more. Smidge more. Tiny bit more. Oh, wait. I changed my mind. I like Hydro Pump Salamence. It's cool. It beats Claydol. Very easy victory.
So Salamence wins?
Yeah.
Did you really just switch that last moment?
I was thinking about Salamence. No, I can explain. Hydro Pump Salamence is one of my favorite sets, and I kind of forgot about it until this moment.
It's so cool. I love Hydro Pump.
It's very cool, and it's literally, to be honest, it not only exists, but I would say in large part it exists to pump this guy that he's facing off of right now.
Yeah, true.
And Reggie
and Moltress.
Moltress, yeah.
And you can mid-ground Gar without clicking Brick Break and getting beat by the Gar switch in. I vote Salamence too, for what it's worth. Cool. Because he's epic.
He's gonna win anyway then.
But Claydol's cool too. Sorry, Claydol.
Is this Pert versus
Magneton? I'm sorry, Magneton. I'm sorry.
These are both very good Pokemon, and we talked about Mag being like kind of the hidden goat where because it defeats Skarm, but I like Pert too much. It's cool.
I'm wondering, here's a thought experiment for you. If you deleted one of these from Gen 3 or U, which one would result in a worse metagame?
Do you have to ban Skarmory if Magneton doesn't exist?
Maybe. Maybe
No, that's the question I didn't want to hear, and it's making me rethink it. Where it's just like, oh,
but I mean,
the thing is,
Swampert wasn't there. I guess Whiscash would have its moment.
You could do Quagsire, I guess, or like Flygon.
It doesn't even get recovered in this gen, though, right? Quagsire,
No,
we've seen Quagsire, right? It's like resting and being a weird
Quagsire
little
does
guy.
stuff sometimes. It's got Water Absorb and Curse.
Not uncool.
Rest, Ice Beam, yeah. Johnny G2 was the first Quagsire user, and then Fradazia's been pushing it recently, which is interesting.
If you assume Skarmory doesn't get banned, like let's say you click Control-Delete and no ban happens yet, I think it's worse with Magneton gone, to be honest with you. I literally do, because there are analogs to Pert, not just in...
I don't know, just run Magnemite. I mean...
No, well, okay, if Magneton's not here,
Magneton's gone,
Magnemite's
but
not.
Magnemite is still in.
Yeah, like how effective is Nose Pass going to be? Like I don't think
Not
it's
effective.
Nose Pass could kind of do. I've used Nose Pass before, but
I've watched the videos. That you didn't do a very convincing job in the Jimothy gaming videos.
No. One time I mimicked all 3 spikes, and I eliminated the Skarm. He's got Mimic on it. I did it once. I did it once.
I don't know.
No, it would be terrible compared to Magneton, obviously.
Like,
I definitely like Swampert more, even if I think removing Swampert, the metagame stays more stable, maybe?
And you think Magneton's gonna beat Salamence? I mean, it has to be Pert and Mence here. I'm sorry. I'm going Pert.
I think LRC is right on that principle alone, to be honest with you.
Like
you say, like
maybe Magneton is the dark horse just because of Jim's question about what metagame do you want, viewers.
Also, to be fair, indoor Magneton that randomly has HP Ice could definitely take out Salamence.
Yeah, if you had prep time.
Yeah, it's Batman with prep time.
Yeah, as the Salamence clicks Dragon Dance as the Magneton switches in.
Salamence games, then it's over.
Magneton can beat any Pokemon with enough prep time.
I would vote for Swampert too. Even though, I like Swampert. I don't think the question is like which one would you remove. It's which one you like more.
Yeah. I like Swampert more in general.
It's an interesting thing to think about, like the impact Mag has. You know,
you take for granted. It's like, yeah, this guy kills Skarm, of course, but.
Celebi versus Flygon. What do you think, folks? It's kind of an interesting one.
This is the first one I don't have an immediate opinion on, so I'll let you guys discuss, and it might sway me.
I think
both of these Pokemon are important for the metagame.
Yeah, I think the way Celebi is used is a little... I think Celebi is slightly more versatile and more interesting, probably. I don't know if I like its design. Oh, I like their designs a lot, actually.
I like Celebi.
This is really hard. I think I pick Celebi. It's slightly more interesting than Flygon to me, even though Flygon is like, you know, I like it. It's kind of like Swampert too, but I think I like Celebi a little more. It's more interesting. I have the e-reader stuff with it, and it's cute.
Both of these Pokemon can be annoying in different ways. Celebi, because when it first comes out, you don't know what set it is, because it's the sheer variety, and if you pick the wrong thing, you can sometimes get it blown up. Like, it's a common move to go Skarm against Celebi to make the spike when they Leech Seed, but they can batten past a Mag and just punish you for that. If they Calm Mind and you're not ready for it as well, that can just snowball, depending on what you do. But that's not too bad. That's like a skill issue, kind of, because you can read the team. You know, you got time to respond usually to Celebi, I think. Flygon can be annoying in the Superman. When you're running a Spikes team that is like rock spam game plan, you want to beat down the rock resist. Flygon can be your worst nightmare because it's defense invested, it doesn't take Spikes damage, it resists all your rock moves. So it takes a lot of effort and work to actually break through the thing. You can punch it on the way in, you can like double edge through it, but it's going to chip heal. If they have Wish support, then it's just like this never-ending goose chase of never being able to pin down the Flygon, and you just slowly lose, and that's not fun. But that could also be a skill issue, like, I don't know, don't go all in on the one game plan if you get punished by Flygon too much. Celebi,
don't match up fish.
Celebi has a lot of nuance to it, more so than Flygon.
Yeah,
I think, with how customizable it is. I like that it punishes Suicune and Blissey.
I think it is slightly more interesting to use too. Like Flygon's offensive sets, it's not like they're not interesting to use, but it's like Flygon's also very starved for moves. Like
Yeah, it's running
If-
Gust on the choice band, so tells you something.
for Heracross.
That's
Yeah,
so
dude,
cool
when it's-
though.
when it's
Honestly, it's so
Heracross.
cool. The fact that
Yeah.
it gets Gust for that, that's kind of cool. That's so
Who's
sick,
cooler,
dude.
Gust Flygon or Peck Memo Swine?
Peck Mamoswine's pretty interesting.
That's what it used to run that in the Diamond and Pearl meta before it had access to other moves, so it could. I think it was also for Heracross.
Was it Breloom?
Oh, it was Breloom. You're totally right. Yeah, yeah. It'd been a long time since DP only.
That's good.
I
love
feel
Mamoswine,
like
actually.
you know what there was a target on Celebi's back for beating Metagross, which I'm still mad about. But and I feel like Flygon is more for me as a I'm just a huge Gen 3 head. Flygon is a little bit more integral to the Gen 3 experience.
You
But-
are gonna get this little
Celebi's not
guy,
a Gen
probably.
3 Pokemon.
No, it's Gen
And-
2.
It's a
Yeah,
Pokemon.
I know. I'm just saying that a part of me wants to lean towards Flygon, but I'll admit I think I'm going Celebi here. I think competitively, yeah, it's more interesting. There's also I don't know. I just think Celebi is cool, and Jim was selling it really well earlier. And I love Flygon, but I've never been the biggest amazing Flygon fan like I am Mence, and I'm voting Celebi through. I think you guys are as well.
Yes, I'm
definitely
voting for
going
Celebi too. And visual design and flavor.
It was
is
close
cool
though.
too, in
This
my
is
opinion.
this was actually maybe the closest matchup yet. I think.
I'm with you. Except Metagross and Celebi, come on. But anyway.
That was pretty close. Tyranitar versus
Oh no, I don't want to do
Blissey.
this one.
Bliss.
Oh, this is tough.
I vote for me on the grounds that it's my name.
With itself.
Oh, this is an evil matchup. I don't want to pick this one.
With both of these Pokemon are pivotal to the metagame. You
Oh,
may not want to hear it, but without Blissey, the format would be chaos. It would be like Raikou clicking buttons.
Suicune would be an
defeating you.
animal.
Suicune would be crazy.
That Pokemon's gone if Blissey's gone.
Zapdos would be stupid.
Zapdos would also
yes.
be insane.
Gengar,
The
Gengar
yeah.
would be crazy.
Ugh. Imagine
There'd be a lot
Gengar
of-
if it doesn't
Even
run.
Moltress, even Moltress.
Yeah,
Blissey's
but then
integral.
Gen 3 meta's doesn't even exist without Tyranitar.
Yeah. Sand. People. The big noob trap is that sand is bad. Permanent sand is always up. This is a problem because I can't use my favorite item on
Here's the
Skuntank or whatever.
secret
It
about
doesn't
items
exist.
in Gen 3 is they're all terrible. There is 6 good items in the whole concept of the gen. All of those boosting moves are 1.1 times, so they're very because I've played the VGC Gen 3 one, and it's it is interesting to have a meta where there's no leftovers, there's only one, but you get starved for items. Ludicolo runs Starfberry in that format because it has to, because there's basically you're using all your other items on other Pokemon, and then it's Ludicolo can use every stat boost except attack, basically. So it's things get dire when leftovers aren't used. So it is funny that people make that point, but it's actually not that big of a deal because the other items are just not super interesting
I
for the
feel
most
I'm
part.
picking, but I feel like I'm picking between mom and dad. This is tough.
On that point, I think the impact of items is overrated. I don't know. Because Gen 3AU has plenty of depth without really items having a huge impact. A lot of the time, leftovers is just cancelling out sand, and that doesn't really make the game worse, in my opinion. It's just like a Jolteon just doesn't have an item, basically. It doesn't need an item. What does it need to do? 30% more damage or something? It can still function.
This is tough.
Sand has a positive impact overall. It punishes
I agree.
all the Pokemon that would be horrendous to play against, like
And
Suicune and
you know who'd
Snorlax.
be horrendous to play against without sand is the matchup.
Yeah,
This
Blissey.
fellow.
Blissey
That'd be
would be
awful.
terrible. It would be terrible.
God, I'm still. It's crazy because again, for me, I'm thinking of it as well in a very small subset of Gen 3, but battle frontier wise, Blissey is simultaneously really annoying in some facilities, but also Blissey is not only so cool in factory, but also is a part of the Battle Tower world record team in a really unexpected way. And the Blissey is just cool because I've just become an in-game stalwart. So Blissey's my queen, you know what? It's
This Pokemon's also
Exactly.
kind of the goat in what's that facility with the Pike? This is the noob get through.
in Pyramid. Blissey
Oh,
is
no.
the goat in Pyramid.
Well, it's really good in Pike too because
Yes.
you get randomly poisoned and stuff, and Blissey can just cure your whole team and heal it all up.
Yeah.
So
gotta-
that's the noob strat for beating Pike the first, because that's also probably the easiest facility to beat.
Dude,
Yeah, I hate
Or not
doing
to
this
beat-
Tyranitar. I think I'm voting Blissey.
You're kidding.
I think I'm
Can't be
voting.
swayed.
I really think I'm voting.
We got
Blissey.
2-1.
I think
we
I
got,
am.
Well, I was spoiler. I voted Tyranitar, but I guess
I don't think
okay.
I
You
can
could
be
ask the
swayed.
question of like which metagame would be worse if they were deleted. Maybe the metagame without Blissey would just be Special Offense
Yeah.
Nightmare. The metagame without Tyranitar would be Stall.
It'd be bad in both scenarios.
I think Tyranitar is more important. There are other special
is-
walls.
it
There's
is more
Snorlax and
important.
Regice. You got like Grumpig if you want.
I low
that's
key. I
crazy.
also very much prefer this Blissey's sprite here to Tyranitar's. I've talked about how I don't like
Oh, the
T-Tar's sprite that
sprite?
much.
It's a pretty nice
I think
Blissey
Blissey's
sprite.
looking cute. It's a good Blissey
This
sprite.
is how it feels. This is how it feels, Jim, when you took Metagross away from me. All
Well,
right.
this is Tyranitar. This is the goat himself. I mean, this is crazy. This is what can I do?
I'm
But-
being
but-
insanely biased for my name choices, but I can't be swayed.
Well, all right.
God,
This
this
is
is-
the most
this is
respect
what it's
Blissey
all
has
about.
ever received in history, right here. This is Blissey Renaissance.
Arctic Breeze is exceedingly happy right now.
Arctic Breeze over the moon.
So who we got? Is this Men's Pert?
Ah,
Which is a very tough one, right? These are both just truly
oh
epic.
my-
I like Pert more. I'm such a fan of Pert. I like it so much.
I could go
Has
either
6
way,
million
and I don't know.
sets. I think they're all not more interesting, but I like Pert too much. It's more
I'd
fun
have to
for me
think
to
about
use.
this.
I like even offensive Pert is like a very good defensive Pokemon. Like if you running full offense Pert, like with no investment in for some reason, like you could still switch that guy into Tyranitar pretty much, and it's like you can switch it into Arrow as long as it's not double edged. Like I like this Pokemon. It's a cool Pokemon. 1 million sets, one of the best defensive Pokemon to ever do it. Very skillful to use. I like it too much. And it could Ice Beam Salamence if this was happening. And Salamence isn't living.
Well, Salamence can HP grass though.
I think
Yes,
Swampert can live
Salamence
the
could-
HP grass.
Not if
If-
you sub
depends
into
on
a
the spread.
Berry.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I don't. Can Pert outpace with +1 Salak? I don't think so. Well,
I
Wait.
can.
it can, yeah.
Uh,
And then
Salamence actually isn't even that fast, surprisingly.
Salamence
Base
puts
100.
Dragon Dance on the Endure, and it's over.
It wouldn't insane.
This is my
This
80
1v1 is getting
aspirin.
intense, man. This is like Dragon Ball Z.
Actually, apparently from standard defensive, there is only an 83% chance for beam to KO.
Oh yeah,
Salam-
Swampert.
Salamence has got a little bit of beef. It's not D-Knight, but it has some.
It does have bulk. It's actually
The-
not. It's way more bulky for physical things when it intims them.
The Dragon Dance set usually runs a bit of health, so it can take like 1 Ice Beam, but then you're in dire straits afterwards, and you probably can't even follow up KO.
Yep. And
Because
it
the
also is
Omega set
mostly.
usually dies.
Swapper clicks Blizzard. What are you doing now, Mence? I don't know.
It's
Oh, yeah.
insane. What an
Totally.
insane click.
This is
Oh,
getting
this
crazy.
is
This
tough.
battle.
I want to hear you talk about it, Jim, because I'm torn.
These are like the perfect examples of both of their roles, right? Like, in
Yeah.
my opinion, Gen 3, Salamence and Swampert. Gen 3 Salamence is like the perfect top tier offensive threat. Like, this is what they should be like. The same with Swampert. This is like what a defensive, bulky ground type guy should be like.
Ugh.
They're just perfect examples of their respective roles, and I think this is the most evenly matched one so far. It's got to be, and I'm very torn. I'm not sure. They're both just classic Gen 3 epic.
Because what's funny too is that like we were talking about how Swampert's cool because it can kind of creep into an offensive role. Like you could run like mixed offense
Yeah.
Pert with like focus, but like Salamence actually also can do that with the Wish Flamethrower Toxic
Yeah.
sets. Like
Salamence
it's
can be
it's
defensive.
creeping into a
They both
defensive role.
Have enough variety to do the opposite role a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like they're both.
Not
And
as much as Swampert can. It's not.
I agree.
Both sidesy,
Yes.
but like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Defensive Salamence probably a bit worse than offensive. Well, is that even true? Because I think defensive Wish Salamence teams are like incredibly good.
It's like more. I would say it's more niche, maybe. Like
I
you're.
don't have experience with it. I don't know.
The more
I
I,
don't know
think
how to
about
ex-
it, I think defensive Salamence might be better than offensive Swampert overall. Offensive Swampert can be
What?
hard to fit, like on a team.
I
Like those Wish Men's Yama Fari teams are super good. Like they're really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. I've found that I have not had, but I'm not as high level as either of you in terms of actual gameplay. But I
think
found that it's easier
reasonably
for me
close.
to.
It's reasonably close between defensive Salamence and offensive Swampert. I would.
Yeah, and
think, actually.
Swampert, it's like Swampert. When Swampert wants to go offensive, you're rarely going full hilarious, like mixed offense or whatever, like pump. But like usually you're slotting in a little bit more, or like you're slotting in Focus Punch on some weirdo defensive set to punish Blissey or something.
I think I like Salamence as a Pokemon like design, everything about it more.
Really,
But-
I like Swampert more.
from a Gen 3 OU perspective as well, and also just how it competitively functions, I feel like Swampert is such a cornerstone, and like, I don't know. I'd be fine voting Swampert. I think I'm voting Swampert here, actually. I think I am. Like,
Fair enough.
It's hard. I like Swampert, and I also I play Gen 4 a lot. Swampert's awesome in that gen, and even somehow more versatile than it was in Gen 3. You can actually run. I love the spec set, the hilarious lead spec set that just snipes people. Very good set.
Well, that's epic.
I feel like you were leaning Swampert, Jim. Am I correct?
Leaning
I felt like he was
Salamence,
leaning
actually.
Mence.
I really like Salamence. I think it's so. It's just perfect. It's just a perfect Pokemon. But so is Swampert. I don't know. Like they're both so. This is so evenly meshed for me. Actually, I don't know which way I was leaning. Maybe I don't have
do
to
literally
decide.
think these are like the perfect. You know who's like the counterpart to these guys from my perspective, like on a special attacking sense, would almost be like Gengar. It's like Gengar kind of is like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess Gengar can't do a physical set, but like I'm thinking of like the perfect Pokemon for a thing. But I like Swampert.
Well, Swampert wins it, and then we've got.
So is the winner of the other bracket? Oh no, these two have to fight each other. I see.
You know what I'm going. I'm going Blissey here. I'm going Blissey.
You're going Blissey. Oh my gosh.
I'm going Blissey
Actually,
again.
I don't know what I'm
Blissey.
doing. I don't know what I'm doing actually. Why are you going
I
Blissey? Why are you going
I'm in
Blissey?
love
don't
with
want to
Blissey's
stink
battle
up
pack
the
set.
bracket and frame one vote Blissey, but
You
I
are Blissey, so I know you're.
I don't want to
you.
stink up. I don't want to create a sham bracket.
I'm voting
where
Celebi. I'm voting Celebi, folks. Celebi's cool. It's
Celebi
got
is-
Blissey.
It's all on you, Blissey.
oh no,
Is
this
it
is
gonna be
hard.
your name or your RNG Pokemon?
But I do actually genuinely like ADVOU Blissey. It's an actual cool
It's epic,
version of
yes.
this
It's great.
Pokemon. Yeah.
If Blissey wins this bracket,
The thing is,
It's Blissey could win. Blissey could win it all.
I think I am sticking to Blissey. I'm sticking to my guns.
oh
Blissey
man,
wins, man.
It's
I'm
too
not
cool.
that
I
mad. I'm
really
not that
do
mad with
like
it. That's fine.
Celebi. I do really like Celebi, but it's my name and it's the coolest version of Blissey. Celebi, Celebi exists in other spaces.
This is a matchup.
I'm
Swampert
actually,
versus Blissey, folks.
I'm not voting Blissey here. I don't think. I think I like
Wow.
Swampert more.
Wait, what are you doing, Jim?
No, I think he's.
I'll remain silent. I'll remain silent. What are you doing?
I think I like Swampert more. It's more versatile. I just like it. I don't know. We've talked so much about it.
Won the 1v1 if Celebi was here.
Celebi would have crushed Swampert. That is a fact.
Celebi would have.
Super Spit F Mirror Coat, got him. But
Oh,
no
dear.
counter actually. Well, it depends. I guess Celebi. Does Celebi get Magical Leaf? Surely it does.
Probs. I don't know. You would never use that.
So like, no, wait, what? Oh my gosh, no, it gets Giga Drain. Yeah, so you could like, I don't know, but then oops.
It also
so-
gets HP Grass.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if you counter or mirror coat, like which one? It actually depends. Like, 'cause
Oh,
you
I see, I
counter,
see.
You counter the hidden power. Like, nope, never mind. I'm just
Yeah,
clicking
yeah.
Shoulder Beam. Anyway.
But Celebi's not even here. We got to talk about Blissey.
Yes.
Celebi's not even in the conversation.
Yeah, Celebi took away Metagross anyway, so Blissey. I mean, this is a tough one. Again, like for me, I know I'm going back to Factory, but Blissey is just the coolest thing in Factory to me, and Factory is the coolest thing for me. And so I am leaning towards Blissey. It's crazy enough, I am leaning towards Blissey, but Swampert's legacy is still. I mean, Blissey, it seems like you're going Swampert, right?
I really like Swampert. It's just a very cool Pokemon that isn't like, it has nothing about it that's like free. I get like there's no. If Swampert is like never like a brainless Pokemon, you have to be very careful.
Honest.
Yes, it's an honest. And Blissey isn't not honest, but Blissey
Yeah, are you
has
saying Blissey's a liar?
a little maybe. I don't know. There's things about Blissey that are easier. Like, you know, it can get pressured by Toxic, but it has Natural Cure. It does have an instant healing move. Like Swampert doesn't have that, but I guess Swampert is immune to sand, so it gets value out of Chip Heal where Blissey doesn't.
It's fair. Swampert's more honest. Like Swampert has to click refresh. Blissey just gets to switch out.
And a
Swampert
lot of
doesn't steal
things.
moves. Blissey clicks snatch. Blissey's a thief.
A lot
I
of
think
things
Blissey
also.
is dishonest because they're always
Grass-
using RNG manipulation rather than
True.
Like,
I'm a
catching
I'm a
Pokemon.
known cheater.
Honestly,
Did you see that guy who commented on like 100 of my videos I posted on Twitter a couple
you are
days ago?
cheating. You are cheating.
Dude, that guy.
That
He
is
said-
crazy.
He said I had a hidden agenda for Pokemon for VGC. I don't
That's
even
true.
play VGC.
That's true. That's true, though.
My hidden agenda was to get Blissey into the finals so I could vote against it.
No.
No, I like, and
I'm
you know,
going
Swampert.
Blissey.
A lot of things have grass coverage, so like Swampert is actually susceptible, and they're probably running grass coverage for this guy, and like ancillary ground Pokemon like Dugtrio or whatever. But like, yeah, like I don't know.
I think it's
Well,
all
then-
on Jin. What I'm my interpretation.
I can't believe
think you're
LRXC voted
Swampert.
Blissey here. That's crazy. It's just
I
reality
know,
is-
I know.
is crazy.
I'm going.
It's actually closer than I would think it would be, but because I do like Blissey a lot in this gen. But
My instinct is to go Swampert, but I'll maybe just consider Blissey for a sec out of respect. Like, Blissey has an important presence that, if you ask the question of which one is worse to remove, it's probably Blissey, to be honest. Swampert, there are Swampert analogs that could function, I think. But removing Blissey could be a disaster. It could be a disaster. There are Blissey analogs too, but Blissey does the job more effectively.
yeah, there's nothing that close to it, to be honest.
I mean, Chansey could probably. I mean, like.
Oh,
kind
Chansey.
of,
Well,
but-
then I think Chansey would also be gone.
But well, no,
Chansey.
Chansey wouldn't make it this far because Chansey's less cool. Chansey's special attack is like 10, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not as cool.
It's
not as
Chansey.
cool.
Chansey really can't run like actual damaging moves in this gen. Like if you
It has
wanted
to run
to,
like wish counter toss.
it's
to T-Wave.
35 special attack. So
Yeah.
What, 70? 70? 75?
it's like, yeah, it's like 70 or 75 for Blissey. So like this thing can't do anything. Like you have to run seismic toss on a Chansey, and it's like, okay, well,
All
I
right,
think-
what is it, Jim?
I'm still going Swampert though because
Yeah.
That's fair.
it's a perfect Pokemon. It's a perfect Pokemon. It is honest.
I agree.
It's got all the variety you want. Even though it's on a lot of teams, like every Swampert is going to be a bit different and customized. If a Pokemon's going to be on every team, Swampert is a good pick for that.
And I also think there's never a world where Swampert is too much. Like we talked about, like if
Yeah,
Tyranitar was
absolutely not.
removed, is Blissey like too annoying? Like Swampert's never like that in my head. You know what I
Swampert,
mean? Like
yeah, Swampert is actually not that inherently powerful. It's just like a good response to everything else.
Yeah.
It's the glue that holds everything together. It's
That's what I'm
not
saying.
like broken on its own merits already.
Yeah.
It's victorious.
So is
Okay.
Swampert gonna face off against the winner of the second bracket?
Yes,
Excellent.
that's right. Swampert is the winner of this bracket, and then the winner of this bracket will face off against Swampert. So let's get into it. There's a lot of Pokemon here to discuss.
Yeah, we've been talking.
We've been talking. We've been talking.
Charizard's cool. I
Charizard
actually am.
versus Snorlax. Charizard versus Snorlax.
I'm a hater of Charizard in the sense of like it is
Really?
like the classic kid. No, but like design and like kid wants to use Charizard. Like is mad about Stealth Rocks in later gens because Charizard goes to 50. But like, I don't even like its design that much. But in Gen 3, Charizard is cool to use. It is a very cool Pokemon. I like the way it operates. I like the subset. I like sub punch. I like 4 attack. I like its speed tier. I like the mixed attacking angle that this thing does. It's cool. Belly drum. It's cool. It's a cool Pokemon.
I'm going Lax.
You going Lax?
I enjoy
It's
Charizard.
respectable.
Charizard's a villain for me personally. Charizard's been a villain in some of my factory streaks, and like I do think Charizard's cool, but I think I'm also on that same grain of like wanting to be, not that liking Snorlax is against the grain, but it's like, oh, everybody likes Charizard, so I'm not gonna like Charizard. Like I don't know, but
It's
like,
a little against the grain these days in terms of Gen 3 OU. Snorlax gets a lot of hate.
It is.
I like
I think
Snorlax
I-
actually. It's a
I
fun
like
guy.
Lax more. I think Lax is a cool Pokemon in Gen 3 OU. I also just think it is a cool, like, this special blob that also has this random offensive presence, and it gets a bunch of funny moves, and like I think it's a neat guy. So I'm going
I can't
Lax.
disagree. It's a close one, but I do like both. Like I'm slightly on Charizard's edge, and it might even just be recency bias. Like 2
Yeah,
years
that's
from
fair.
now, 2 years from now, maybe I'm back at Snorlax. I'm like go back to old reliable.
Snorlax is a good presence in the format as an alternative special wall to Blissey that is more aggressive, more physically attack oriented. It's got a good amount of set variety too. It's got options like Focus Punch, coverage like Earthquake, Shadow Ball. It can
It
be
has counter
Curse
too,
Rest,
doesn't
it
it?
can be Curse Explode. It does have
Obscure
counter.
Yawn.
Counter Snorlax is a cool lead. Can live a mash from Metagross Band and KO.
Yawn's cool. I did play with the
Easily
team.
lift the mash.
I did play with the team that ran Yawn Lax recently too. That was actually interesting.
Yawn
tech.
Lax
And I'm
underrated. Underrated. Good set.
usually a sleep hater.
Snorlax is kind of an annoying Pokemon though as well in Gen 3 sometimes because it can be like a matchup fish, kind of. Like Snorlax can just destroy certain teams completely with
Yeah.
the Cursed Rest set. And I don't always love that. Charizard, I think, has less meta impact. It's less of has an important role. It's just like a Pokemon you can use, but I enjoy using it a lot. I mean, I hit rank 1 with this Pokemon, so I have a fondness towards it. Yeah, my Big 5 Charizard team, which a lot of people still use to this day. I face against it quite a lot.
I see it in ladder all the time. I'm pretty sure I saw it in ADV Revival. My friend played against it.
I like that. When you first get into competitive Pokemon, Charizard is like the classic noob Pokemon, isn't it? People want to use it.
That's why I'm a little bit
just
of a hater of
sucks.
it, but it's actually cool.
I had that opinion myself, but I have come around completely on Charizard. I'm now like a Charizard fan.
I'm actually exactly the same position.
It's the most obvious like pick for a favorite Pokemon or whatever. It's my favorite starter, I think, to be honest.
It's cool.
I actually really like the subset, like running like sub 3 attack. I really like it.
I think that there's a reason this is an iconic Pokemon. It is a simple and good creature design.
Very short,
It's a classic. It's an absolute classic.
Very short.
He's
Very
like
short,
he's like
though.
4 or 5 or something.
He's very short though. The problem.
Right when Jim freaked out in
We
our
love short
net,
kings out there.
when Jim freaked out in our net play battle when Regirock was like 4'10.
I couldn't believe it, man. I thought he was a big golem. What's up with that?
I did too. Wait, Regirock is only 4 feet tall or 5
He's a
feet
tiny
tall.
little.
I don't think it's. Yeah, Charizard's the same exact way. It's like very short. You'd think this is like a guy that you
like a
could,
little
but it's like no,
gnome.
we're all probably taller than Charizard.
That can't be right. They got to change that.
Yeah, no. Regirock is 5'7" Bulbapedia, so it's not 4'11", but 5'7" is still short. It's shorter than me, and I'm not that tall.
Regirock being shorter than me is crazy.
But it was shorter than Hariyama. I don't know how big. Charizard's actually 5'7", so it's not that short. I was misrepresenting. Apologies, folks. Still 5'7".
Pokemon
Not
Showdown
that tall.
warps my view of things. I always thought Pawmot was pretty tall as well, but in game he's like a little mouse.
Yeah, that guy's like 1 inch.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, because they're using the images, so they're just huge.
Stretches out onto the screen. Like I thought he was like a pretty tall guy.
We're gonna have images until Gen 10. It's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm voting
That
for
sounds
Charizard.
like me and Jim
I'm
are
voting for
both Charizard in accord.
That's okay. I'm not heartbroken like I was about Metagross, so you can put Charizard ahead.
That's good.
With LRX's permission, we
I'm
move on.
glad to hear it.
LOL on this one. This is the icon. I mean, like Gengar is literally Forretress's like enemy.
Oh yeah, they hate each other. These two.
Gengar is a Pokemon I love to hate. This is such an annoying creature, and the grin on his face shows that he knows it.
Isn't it like canonically the antithesis to Blissey? Like, isn't
no,
it?
it's like a Clefable. It's like a fan theory that they're like it and Clefable are, because it looks like Clefable's shadow basically is what people think. No, I like Gengar. I think it's cool. It's like very, especially in this gen, is weird. It's like a weird, like it runs a lot of bulk in ADV. Has Will-O-Wisp, has Taunt. Very cool, very unique for this format, I think. There's nothing really like, even Mischievous, who's like another spin blocker, like does not operate like this thing. Like yeah, it's very, a very strange, different guy. It can be very annoying to fight because of that, but I still like it and I appreciate its existence. Fortress, just a ball. I mean, I don't know. Kind of is what it says on the tin.
Basketball.
I'm a Fortress defender.
I actually like its design more than Gengar visually. I think Fortress is fun. It's fun looking.
I'm with you. Design-wise, I think it's cool.
Yeah, Gengar's very plain. His main advantage is big mouth, which I can't deny is a positive attribute.
Spherical.
That's when I think of Gengar, I don't think of big mouth, but I guess that the Gigantamax version of it is like literally like that gigantic mouth.
I think like if Gengar is like doesn't have this big like shit-eating grin, like it's like loses a lot of personality. So like literally that big smile is what gives him like he doesn't read Mischievous to me in like the 3D models where he's just kind of got his, you know what I mean?
The smile is an iconic silhouette. Like you could just chuck the Gengar smile and eyes on something and everyone knows what that is.
Yeah,
an iconic image.
Unlike Fortress's eyes, I like Fortress. I think it's cool. It's like I think people think it's boring, and I think Fortress doesn't want to be the center.
Is epic. I like it. I like that it's an Ultra Spiker to Skarmory. I like that it's a bit of a foil to Skarmory. I like that it has cool moveset options like Counter and Zap Cannon and like HP Bug and
that's
HP
so
Ghost.
sick.
He is very different, and it's not like he kind of gets relegated to the gyro ball button in later gens. He doesn't have to do that here.
Yeah,
I think that Forretress is low-key a very skillful Pokemon to use because you can use it in
That
many
makes
different
sense.
ways. You take a hit, explode. You can keep it around long term.
Explosion
as a
is
spinner.
very cool in ADV.
It's very nuanced early game in Gen 3OU where it's like I don't know, and especially if there is a spike on your side, it's sometimes it is a nuanced decision of like, yeah, do I spike, do I spin, this, that.
In
I
terms
don't
of
know. And I
building,
think
the way that you use Forretress is too with like Zap Cannon luring in Gengar, punishing.
Foray doesn't
Sky.
even have to do spin, right? There's that double.
There are spinless Furry sets, yeah, spinless.
Well,
I hate
they've
I hate the double spikes team, but
No,
whatever.
the it's like Claydol Foray has been going around where they run you don't run Foray as your spinner, you run it as like this other guy.
Yeah. I think I'm voting Gengar here, but like I like Fortress is like doesn't want to be the star of the show. Fortress knows who they are, but I think Gengar is just the versatility is so sick. It's just an offensive powerhouse. It's just I don't know. I like Gengar, and yeah, like the versatility. I mean, like even like Arctic's curse set. That was such an iconic moment for Gengar, in my opinion. That was so
Yes.
sick when I saw that on Kalos Invitational. Like I don't
Crazy
know.
what people do with Gengar. It's crazy.
It can do literally anything basically. Like it's an insane Pokemon.
It even gets Snatch. I don't think that has any use points, but yeah.
Someone will find something.
Actually, you could definitely. Well, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just taunt a Suicune, but you could totally use that to snatch a Suicune.
Exactly.
You can take its
You
Calm
snatch
Mind
Calm
and
Mind from a
then Thunderbolt
Suicune,
2
and
hits or
it's
something.
trembling in its boots.
That would be so funny, actually. Like, that's great, actually. Yeah, but yeah, I'm voting Gengar. Jim, would you vote Gengar or?
Yes, I would vote Gengar.
Okay. Oh.
Oh my!
what
I
a-
hate both
what a-
of these Pokemon. Can we just
what a bizarre
not
You hate
advance?
both of them? You hate both of them?
I am resident sleep hater. I hate sleep fringe status condition. I hate it so
Look,
much.
Milo doesn't even click hypnosis.
No,
that
I'm
much.
talking about Smeargle. This is why I hate Smeargle.
Oh.
Spore nerd, don't like him.
It's Smeargle versus Milotic, by the way, for audio listeners.
And then Milotic, I don't know. It's kind of like a Swampert 2, a little bit. I don't like it as much as I like
Well,
Swampert.
it's not a rock resist, so it's a bit. It's bulky water, so it can
Yeah,
check
bulky
Salamence. It can check fire types, mixed attacks.
In my head, I'm not running Swampert and Milotic on a team. This is like, yeah, it is not a
Usually
rock
you
resist,
don't.
which is a big
Usually it's
difference.
Melodic, Claydol, Doug is the
Yeah.
common core,
Mag.
or Metagross
I don't know.
sometimes.
I mean, Milo can be interesting. I'm being like a hater in this moment. Like
Milo
Milo's,
is-
they're both more interesting than on a surface level, like just like the first set you fight on low ladder or whatever. They're definitely more interesting. Milo can run offensive. Milo can run Hypnosis if it wants. I don't know why it would, but it could. Like Hypnosis is usually the offensive set, I think, right? With like Hypnosis, Ice Beam, Hydro
I would
or
not
something.
give Milo that much points for set variety. Offensive Milo does exist, but it's quite
Yeah, I
rare.
know.
Usually it's just the
Super
same Recover, Toxic, Refresh, sometimes
Yeah.
Hypnosis, and that's
Yep.
about it. Maybe
Yeah,
Ice
that's
Beam.
absurdly rare.
Pretty one-dimensional defensive wall that just clicks Recover. I think it's good that it's in the game, though. It's like the mixed attack counter. Like, it will destroy mixed Salamence and mixed Tyranitar, everything. I think it's good that there's some counterplay to that in the game. And it, a simple defensive Pokemon like this has its merit. Smeargle, you could say it's a bit annoying with the Spore, but I think that there's adequate ways to play around. I mean, I think that often you're sacrificing early momentum when you face Smeargle, in some situations anyway. But
Yep.
Smeargle's slow. I don't think leading with Smeargle is even good because of all the bad lead matchups you have. Like, you're slower than Mence.
No,
You
it's defeated by a lot of guys these
you-
days.
just third into Lumberries or whatever. It's an unremarkable lead, so you got to get it on the field. I like that. I like that you have to get it on the field to actually get the Spore.
It's not easy to
Yeah.
get on the field. This is a weak, frail dog.
And it's frail, so you can Spore and Spike. Even then, you're dying to a slight breeze. You can get some more value out of it after that, but it's very all in. I like the way Smeargle
Yeah.
enables hyper offense teams. I like the variety. It obviously is the most varied you could possibly be. It can learn any move in the game. You get like Transform, Smeargle, Endeavor, Explosion, Thunderwave, Will-O-Wisp. A lot of
Dragon
different
Dance.
things. Dragon Dance, Baton Pass.
Yeah, Dragon Dance
Smeargle
BP,
is
yeah.
interesting. Tail Glow Pass Smeargle. Interesting.
I forgot Tailglow's in this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just like
Holy
nasty. It's
Signature.
nasty plot, right?
Yeah, it only raises
Yes.
2. But
Yeah.
it's interesting. So I would vote
Yeah,
for
it's
Smeargle
just-
here. I would vote for Smeargle.
Man, I really enjoy both of these Pokemon in ADVOU, but also outside of it. Like the concept of Milotic is so interesting that it evolves from this really ugly fish that for some reason is absurdly hard to find, and you get this like really rare and beautiful looking creature.
That's
It's actually
that's
probably
cool.
harder to evolve than it is to find.
It
Have you,
is. yeah,
have you
like,
ever done the
new
Poffin
concept.
grind? Oh, not Poffin, the
Pokeball.
Pokeball. Dude, it's a pain.
Yeah, it's like, and like also I just think both of these Pokemon scream to like two things I love in Gen 3. One is in-game stall battle frontier stuff, which Milotic is super interesting in, and then Smeargle is like the epitome of creativity and just random out of the box thinking stuff. I even ran a tournament called the Smeargle Smackdown that was like monopoke Smeargle in Gen 3, like 1v1. It was like building the best Smeargle to beat other Smeargles. I love both of these Pokemon. So I don't know. I mean, like, is this
I'm actually not decided. I don't like. I am like I'm like slightly. Oh, go on.
I think I gotta go. Oh man, because Smeargle is just the epitome of creativity. I think Smeargle is great, but Milotic is too iconic of a Gen 3 Pokemon for me. Is like, I feel like I'm a big Gen 3 purist, very into the mode of Gen 3, and Milotic is just too important of a piece to my puzzle, and I think I'm gonna go Milo.
That's fair.
I think
I'm
I
so
will
competitive brain,
secondary Milo,
yeah.
to be honest with you.
Wow.
I don't like Spore. I do not like Sleep. I actually don't even necessarily enjoy the way that's... And also, you know what? I think it has to be said, Smeargle is a general menace to society. I think it has caused too many problems in too many generations across the whole universe.
In Gen 3 as well. Like, there were Baton Pass rules because Smeargle exists. Like, doing Belly Drum Select Pass and just winning in
I think maybe that's partially what's causing a lot of these, like, feel it, because, like, I'm old. I played Gen 4 OU like in 2006 before they had all this stuff to stop Smeargle. So it's like you can get on shoddy battle and like someone like mean looks you and you just lose instant, like frame one. It's like, okay, well.
Gen 2 Smeargle was crazy. The mean look.
Yes.
It's allowed to do that in Gen 2. Is it allowed to do that in Gen 2
No, they
now?
banned mean look pass, I believe,
Yeah, okay.
or whatever it was, block, whatever it was.
Or
Did you know there was a
spider web? It's spider web and it's mean look. It can do both.
Did you know there was a time in Gen 3 where they banned mean look pass, but they forgot to add the contingency of spider web and baton pass, so Smeargle could still spider web pass? They'd like just
Shout
forgot
out
that
to
that move
Gyarados.
existed.
It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
funny.
I think Gyarados could also do that.
Oh, and
Yeah, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna complain about Smeargle like laying sticky web in later gens and enabling this like ultra like lame like HO in like Gen 3 is like kind of is not usually like so insane, but in later gens like the way HO is like basically screen spam and web spam, I'm like not a huge fan of.
I
you
like
know what
Gen
I mean?
3 HO is just like one spike.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3 spikes in crazy situations.
Yeah, it's definitely more normal in Gen 3. I'm hating on later gens. I
do like that Smeargle breaks the rules. Like I like that Smeargle is kind of like a counter tradition Pokemon, which I like. You know, it's like Smeargle breaks the rules and they're having fun doing it. But
they're
it's just a
cowards
tough
for
pull.
not letting Smeargle get moves now. Like Smeargle can't get Revival Blessing, or it doesn't work. On
Oh, it
Smeargle.
can't get a bunch of moves. It can't get.
They're cowards, man. Let him do it.
It can't. What can it get?
Let
It
him
can't-
paint.
A lot of the signature moves, like it can't get Dark Void and it can't get Hoopa's
Yeah.
move. It actually can't get Chatter either. With Chatot signature move.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they just stopped it from getting all signature moves.
Think
But Revival
Milo
Blessing
wins.
isn't even a signature move. It's on 2 Pokemon.
That's
yeah,
right. It's on,
Rapska gets it. That
It's-
the
well,
one
you
with,
know,
like, the poop ball.
it didn't get. I think it didn't get Chatter originally because Chatter was like very strange, where it would you could talk into the microphone and Chatter would speak the words that you spoke.
So you could
But-
say some bad things.
But it doesn't do that anymore. Like Chatter just now it doesn't do that.
Oh,
So I don't know why I
that's
can't learn it, but I don't know. All right, moving along. Sorry.
Yeah, Milotic wins that one. I didn't consider like the in-game stuff at all. I'm so competitive brained. I'm just thinking like Smeargle enables HO. That's
No,
fun.
you're good.
It's
And see,
In
that's
my
why
head-
we're all able to come from it from such cool angles.
Yeah, yeah.
In my
Milo-
head, I think
yeah.
about the competitive first, but then LRXC talks about the in-game stuff, and I'm like, you're right. I do like that part.
In-game, Milotic is actually one of the coolest things they've ever done. Like the journey to get it, and the fact that it evolves from little funny Feebas is crazy. That's really good.
And
it looks
Feebas is a funny
beautiful.
Pokemon. I do like that he learns moves compared to Magikarp.
Just look at Milo's design. It's kind of it's so elegant.
It's
is cool.
wonderful. It is good. It is good.
It's also a counterpart Pokemon that's cool, right? It's a counterpart to
Yeah,
Gyarados.
Gyarados.
Same
Yeah,
base
yeah.
stats.
This is
Love that.
this they were onto something with this one. There's some creativity there.
Oh,
Ooh.
this is tough. Don't do
Is
this.
it,
Scum
in a pure
is Hera.
1v1 matchup, unfortunately, Heracross is having a tough time,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. Drill peck. Although
And
Toxic
obviously
Guts Punch-
Skarm. Skarm's a goat.
This is just an immediate Skarm for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, really?
It's
really.
it's Skarm. I love not only just ADVOU, it is just one of the goats.
one of the
Skarmory
goats.
is just an absurdly cool Pokemon design to me. I love that it is just this physical wall, and like Skarmory is just so cool to me. This is a tough pull for Heracross. Heracross would have beat a lot of things for me, but I'm insta voting Skarm for me. I just don't see how. I don't know.
I do like Skarm's energy in this sprite. It's got like a very like confident like Skarm knows it's the king. Yeah, Skarm knows that it's better than all the other Pokemon.
I'm voting Heracross. I like Heracross.
What? Whoa, this is a dark horse spot.
I know you love Heracross.
It's epic. This is. What do I even say here? This is like a very important piece of Gen 3 OU. There needs to be a big breaker. It's got guts on it. It's got also a good amount of set variety. I love using it. I think that it really adds something. It's skillful. It is. I like that it can be used on rain teams. Provide some like physical offense on raid teams with the reversal. Usually it's Swarm, Select, Megahorn. Choice Band Heracross. Bulky Heracross is also a cool set.
I have not used Heracross that much in this gen. It gets a lot. Heracross becomes very one-dimensional the further it goes down the gens. So it's called like in.
That's probably true.
Like in Gen 4, like you're really just like you're choicing this thing, and that's like kind of it. Like it's not really doing much else with it. So it's coloring my perception of it.
Skarm is also like relatively one-dimensional though. You could say.
And you're not wrong, especially in Gen 3. Skarm obviously Skarm is like there's a lot of lines like Skarm. You know the weird thing I like about Skarm in Gen 3 is it's like kind of a weird special wall. Like it resists a lot of special types, and I think that's actually that's a lot different than it is in like later like
it is, yeah.
Like the way that it can live even the Mag Thunderbolt and do something else if it like sometimes, you know what I mean? Like depending on the mag set, of course.
The big ones are you can live like Zap Thunderbolt and Toxic it and then try to chip heal back up, or you can live Salamence Fire Blast, which is
it's frustrating playing against chip heal Skarm, but like sometimes like when you're doing it, like it's very
it's such a skillful battle when Skarmory is there often. Skarmory will never just win the game.
We did talk about how bad the meta would be if there was no Magneton and Skarmory was free to be God. We did talk about that.
It's a broken Pokemon. Like it's really
it's on you,
really
Blissey. I'm voting Skarm.
I don't like that it can't be toxic. I don't like that it's immune to the 3 God things in Gen 3. I don't like it's immune to toxics.
It has Magic Guard basically. It has Magic Guard.
It has Magic Guard in Gen.
You can wisp it. You
should be a politician. That was like propaganda. Like you're going around. Skarmory has Magic Guard.
Well, I don't hate Skarmory, but I don't like love. It's not like my favorite guy of all time. It just is.
I haven't used Hera
Skarmory
that much.
is Gen 3. This is just the Pokemon you need to have some plan against. It's just the center. I think that's fine. It's a fine Pokemon for it. It's not as bad as Pokemon in later gens that are like really annoying defensive.
Yeah, it's not like it's still not like Toxapex level of like insane annoying.
It's still,
it doesn't have Roost yet on there. Yeah.
Skarmory can be criminal. It chip heals so much.
It does.
And like when you're up against like ABI, who's just running like some good TSS team, you just feel like you can't.
It's funny too. Like Skarmory is one of my favorite Pokemon that if I ever try to explain some Gen 3 stuff to like people that in real life that don't know a lot about Pokemon, I love explaining the fact that there's this giant metal bird that just lives a bunch of hits from one side of the spectrum, and its main force is laying down these tiny spikes on the ground. It's not even like using, I don't know, that's just a random thing I love explaining about Skarmory as well.
It's funny that is the most powerful concept of all time in this strange world.
I think
a bird laying some caltrops on the field.
I think I have to go with Skarm. I'm basic. I haven't used Heracross that much. I don't have a big attachment to it. And in the games that I play, since I haven't done like any like high level tournament stuff, like I like playing around it on ladder. It's like a fun thing to think about and like actively have a game, like you know that you're coming against this thing most games and having a gameplay, and I enjoy that aspect actually.
What Heracross? What a tough pull for Heracross.
Yeah, I wish I liked him. I like its Mega a lot.
One, folks. I would have expected Hera to win.
Yeah, I don't hate it that much, I guess. Oh, Skarm Milo. What a fun thing to me. I should have voted Hera.
This is crazy.
Yo, this is 2 cool guys. I love both of these guys. This is a fan favorite.
Pori 2 versus Gyarados.
Dude, these are funny guys. I like both these a lot. Actually, funnily enough, I like both of them more in the following gen. Because Trace works better in Gen 4, but I do like Trace in this. I like that this is like a Doug answer. It's really cool. Kind of just like a weird, bulky guy who like can spam status conditions and has has Bolt Beam coverage. I like this thing. I don't really know. I like its design. Its design cannot be overstated how excellent this is. This is a duck that falls into water and dips its nose in the water and tilts back up. Perfect design. Can't say anything better about it. I just love it. I don't know. It's an easy look at it. It's an easy guy to love. Then again, Gyarados is also cool. I like
Gyarados
running
is
double
an icon.
DD teams. I like Mence plus this, where you're just like running like Mence plus this plus T-Tar, right? You're just running like offensive DD spam. I like this thing gets Taunt and Thunder Wave, bunch of cool utility moves. I think I picked Porygon 2 here for the culture. I like it a little bit more. It's just a funny little guy.
Fair enough. Gyarados feels really good to use in Gen 3. Like its
I could be
typing is
swayed.
good. It comes in on Swampert pretty nicely. It's got cool
Yes,
options too. Like you've seen one of my favorite meta developments is HP Ghost Gyarados, because Gengar would run defensive E's to live HP Fly from +1 Gyarados and Salamence. So then Gyarados is just like, okay, HP Ghost.
HP Fly has kind of fallen off of everybody that used to run it. Like it's not like it's not as big of a thing anymore.
Yeah,
Like Aerodactyl
Gyarados
runs
loves
HP
hidden
Bug.
power. Kind of random how much Gyarados loves hidden power. What random gripe about Gyarados? They didn't give the dude Iron Tail. Can you believe that? Look at that tail. How could I don't know. Anyway, that's random.
That
but,
would have been
like,
useful too. That would have hit Arrow.
Right? That's what I was saying. And also, it would have smacked Gengar. I mean,
No stab is
that's-
crazy,
yeah.
actually, in
That's
this
a,
gen 2.
that's a base 100 power move. I mean, like, that thing would have smacked. But, yeah, for me, I like Porygon 2 a lot, but Gyarados is just a cooler Pokemon for me. I definitely live into the whole, like, this is a giant badass fish. Like, I mean, and this sprite is mean looking. Like, this is a vicious thing, and I think that is so sick. And yeah, I love the Dragon Dance Gyarados. I love that it's kind of like a Swampert, where it's like this beast, but it has one crippling Achilles heel. Like, Porygon is just like, it's cool, but it's just, I would instantly pick it. Gyarados is the Octane, you know? Gyarados is like that high Octane, but also can be randomly this cool, like, in like things that are outside of OU, like in game or like in Frontier stuff, like this like DD Rest, or like in doubles, it can operate as this weird like intimidate T-waving leering Leer Pokemon. Like
It also
I think
pairs
that's cool.
with the Jarowak is not unpopular in doubles.
It is not. It's not
Yeah.
good anymore, really, but it is still a thing. Like it's. I don't know. Yeah,
It was popular until pretty recently, honestly.
I'm voting Gyarados. I think you're voting Porygon, right? I mean,
I can't complain. Yeah, I mean, my reasons for picking Porygon are very strange and weird. So I can't complain. I like Gyarados a lot too. I've run many teams with it. It's cool.
all right, Jim. What do you got?
I think he was Gara.
No, I haven't voted yet. I was
Oh,
just
never
talking
mind.
a bit about Gara. Like, it
Sorry.
feels good to use in the format. It's got some interesting options. I like that it lures in Zap and you can Thunder Wave it. It's also awkward to use because, like, the limitations make it interesting though, because it doesn't get Rock Slide, which makes it, you know, the hidden power type is a big decision of Rock, Flying, or Ghost. Usually it's Flying, but then Flying sucks against, like, it's literally walled by Arrow, and it's doesn't hit Zap very hard, so you gotta run Double Edge.
I can't believe it doesn't get Rock
But-
Slide. It's so strange.
Getting Thunder Wave is big. Like, Salamence does not get Thunder Wave. Honestly, my favorite option on Gyarados is Thunder Wave, because it lures in Zapdos, Aerodactyl, Gengar, who all just get devastated by Thunder Wave, which is huge. It can also run Taunt and sometimes beat Skarm, depending on the situation.
Taunt's cool, yeah.
Taunt Gyarados. Resta Gyarados is more of an advanced Gyarados, but that's one that exists. In later gens, I think Gyarados also maintains its relevance pretty well. In like Gen 4, it's very good, obviously. Even in Gen 5 on rain teams, it's good. I think
That
it
thing's
pops
a
up.
menace. This guy is Jirachi number 2 in Gen 4. This
That's
is a
true,
game.
yeah,
This is a game thief where it flinches you and you just win.
It's kind of... I actually like it less in Gen 4 because it's so bright. It's not...
It's
broken,
so
but
annoying,
it's,
dude. If Waterfall didn't have a flinch chance, like I would have no problem with this guy. But it runs.
They're just lame.
Waterfall, Ice Fang, like this is literally, this guy is actually a criminal in Gen 4.
in Gen 3, I feel like it's a very honest and like interesting alternative to Salamence. But then
Yes.
Porygon 2... Okay, also I give Gyarados respect for the in-game flavor of like evolving from Magikarp. We take that for granted, but that's a
It's
very
true.
cool idea, and like they were cooking with that.
You have to train like a little idiot.
Yes, like that's we love that.
I do like that part. It's fun.
Porygon 2 is awesome. I think Trace might be the best of the design in the series. I love it. I love all the interesting applications.
Do you think it gets worse when Trace starts, like Trace in Gen 4? Trace is Intimidate. Like you can, this guy's like the best. Like you would switch this into Gyarados
too. I love it.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you thought that like made it worse or better or whatever. I was just curious.
It's just a random quirk that Trace happens to not work on Intimidate in Gen 3, but it doesn't have that, like it can still wall Salamence and Gyarados well enough.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious.
But like then Arena Trap doesn't exist later, so there's a less relevance for Porygon 2 in that sense. Because Porygon 2 being able to counter Doug significantly means you can build around it and build with Pokemon that suck against Doug, and I love that this can just like create archetypes around it.
That's true.
Which
it's also really good into Claydol, right? Because it becomes immune to Earthquake and it will take peanuts from Psychic. Yeah, it's good against a lot of random little things. Like it comes in on Claydol, Trace's Levitate, Flygon, Jolteon, Houndoom if they happen to have Houndoom.
LOL.
Natural Cure.
Yeah, Natural
Switching
Cure
in on Blissey, taking Toxic, yeah.
Blissey, Celebi,
cool.
or Starmie. You could just Trace Natural Cure. So I would vote
for
Porygon 2. I would vote for Porygon 2.
I'm surprised. I love Porygon. I'm happy. I'm pleased. I love this little creature.
I'm fine with this.
I think it's a great Pokemon design all around, and it adds a lot.
I love this guy. I actually prefer him over his eventual brother, Porygon Z.
Oh, I'm sorry, Breloom. I'm sorry.
I hate Breloom. I can't vote for Breloom in good conscience. Oh, well, it's cooler in Gen 3. Sorry, I'm biased, but I'm again.
It's Suicune. Suicune's right there. I'm sorry. Suicune's right there.
Do like Suicune a lot. Probably would be broken with a bunch of like, you know, we're talking with no Blissey or no Sand or whatever, but as is, I like it.
Suicune's a menace, though.
I am at a loss
it's a criminal.
Of words.
If Gyarados is a criminal, this is a criminal, right?
Yeah. No, I realized that.
Suicune becomes a criminal later on to like the Gen 7 pressure stalling Suicune, where it like runs timid to just sub protect you. This is actually a criminal.
In Gen 3.
Breloom's also a criminal later on.
But I think it gets a bad. It's Breloom is still an honest Pokemon. It really
is. It's slow, it's frail, and its type is kind of bad. So it is definitely more honest.
Like, I think that they considered that this having Spore would be balanced because it's slow and exploitable.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Pokemon that should get Spore, and it makes sense that this gets Spore.
It also doesn't really have much of an ability in this gen. Like, Effect Spore isn't nothing, but it's not like...
It's pretty much nothing.
Yeah, you're not picking it.
Heal.
Or Technician.
Also,
my gosh.
The thing about Breloom is that even if it gets the Spore, like, that's huge short-term momentum, but then it very easily fizzles out. Like,
it doesn't have a lot it's doing in this gen.
Salamence just destroys Breloom. Just comes in on punch and like doesn't take much.
Celebi, it doesn't have any other moves. Like in later gens, it can run like grass moves if it wants to, or like run others. Like it can't do that here.
I like that. Like you can build it with Pursuit Tar and then it can kind of go crazy, but even then it's still slow and frail. I like the fact that it gets Mach Punch because priority is pretty rare in Gen 3. I like that this can be like a backup answer to Tar and sometimes even like Jolt Arrow if they're chipped into.
Wow, there actually is only 4 Pokemon who get Mach Punch, and the other 3 are the Chans.
Yeah, that's significant, and it's cool. It gives it some identity, I think. Suicune is more central. It's a varied Pokemon. It can be offensive, defensive, and a decent amount of variety, but also like
it's doing Pokemon. One thing. It's calm minding.
Has ruined my life in many instances. The last one, Suicune, when I'm winning the whole game, I just can't get through it. There's a lot of situations where you gotta just hope for the crit, or like it's skill issue a little bit. Like you can fit like Screech or something, or some answer for last one Suicune, or like explosions.
Yeah, you chip it down and you boom so it can't rest or whatever.
It's not like a lot of people complain about Suicune. It's more manageable than people think when they're new to the game. Like when you're new to the game, this is the real killer. This destroys you.
Yes,
it eats you alive. But then
I agree.
Like it gets bad into Sand and Spikes. Like Zap threatens it. Celebi's good into it. There's other ways, like forcing it to rest. It's got move slot syndrome a bit. Like if it's just got Surf, you can exploit that. I don't know. I mean, it is kind of a classic. Like this is kind of a classic Pokemon. Like
I also really like its design. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, it is cool.
Suicune is so it's so elegant. Like I was at a loss of words when I saw this sprite. Again, I love this Suicune sprite, and Suicune is just such a. It just screams power and respect, not only in ADVOU, but like for me, like in game, like me really loving that Battlefront tier side of Emerald. Suicune is just such a cool dominant force.
This was
And
my
some of-
Battle Frontier Mon. This was like
Yeah.
the meme is like everybody runs Swampert because of the Worcester team, but like if you run the Worcester team with Metagross, Swampert, and Lottie, if you just replace Swampert with Suicune, the team literally gets 200% better because Suicune is so good.
Yeah, I love Suicune. I love Suicune 2 specifically. This Toxic Dive Substitute Protect set. It's so it sounds horrendous. It is so interesting to play through. I had the most fun I've ever had in Factory using Suicune 2. And not only that, but it's just so cool. And like I like Breloom, but like this is like I don't know.
I would
This
vote
is
for
David
Breloom. I would
versus
vote for
Goliath.
Breloom.
I'm voting for Suicune.
I'm
easily.
also voting for Suicune, even though even though Suicune's a bit of a criminal, I prefer it. I like its design overall.
I support Suicune's criminal activities.
I also actually support it. I don't care if you've been
Fair
convicted
enough.
of any crime, Suicune.
Sorry,
Berlin,
Jen.
I'm sorry,
sorry,
Berlin.
sorry, fighting type.
Mushroom guy though. He's mushroom head. Look at him.
I do like the Gen 3 sprite. It's cute.
Braylon looks
You
kind
could-
of sad now. I feel bad.
Dude, I feel,
Alright, I'll just
I'll just go.
No, Braylon, I'm
I'll just
sorry.
leave.
I will say,
It's okay.
Jim, you give a very rousing defense. I didn't expect to be able to be swayed so much to
It's
Breloom.
No,
I like him.
same
I like
here,
him.
yeah.
Have you also considered that in Gen 5 he's got Poison Heal? He's one of the few physical attackers that can't get Scald Burn. He's
Oh, that's a
anti-rain.
nice benefit.
That's great.
Okay, good for you. This is Gen 3, Braylon. Goodbye.
Damn.
Oh, we got a funny guy here. I actually like
Medicham.
Medicham.
Medicham
This
versus
is
Starmie.
hilarious.
I'm voting
This
Medicham.
is-
I'll just say it off the rip. I like Medicham.
That's fine. I got a
Medicham's like
funny-
Breloom, I feel. Or like Medicham's like a Heracross type strong wall breaker guy.
Yes.
This
he
is an interesting matchup. I got a quick funny story. I remember once. So Medicham is good, obviously, because a big reason is that it has it has Shadow Ball, so it's kind of like a Heracross Megahorn where it can hit Psychic types, right? So I remember once in ADV1 when I was like, dang, my team has a Starmie on it, but it really struggles with Medicham. So the move that I put on Starmie was Camouflage to turn myself into a normal type to get a Medicham locked into Choice Banded Shadow Ball to like just instantly lose the game. So
That is-
quick funny
that's
story.
insane.
I ran a camouflage Starmie in a 1v1 scenario, but
That always turns to normal in the battle thing, right?
yeah, in just like on Showdown, like in any regular battle, yeah, it turns you to a normal type. But also with Jim, I'll admit, oh man, you know, actually, let me pause for a second. Blissey, go on.
Starmie's cool,
I don't know
Starmie's
if I'm
cool.
I don't know if I'm instantly going Medicham, but like, because
You know-
I love Starmie in a lot of ways. I also really love Medicham in a lot of ways because it's so I don't know.
Starmie is one of those Pokemon that you see a lot of. It's very relevant in a lot of competitive play for a very long time. Like it's in Gen 3OU, it's good, it's important. It's in Gen 4OU where it's good and important. It's
And
in
1 and
Gen
2.
5OU where it's good and important. Like this guy
What?
is
It's kinda
around.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
Starmie's kind of a king of the 2D games.
and you know what? This is also a Pokemon we talk about. We've been enjoying Pokemon who are not like gods that come in and like have no counters. Like Starmie's like the Starmie's really powerful and has like a useful tool, Rapid Spin, but its stats are kind of like it's not like overwhelming anything. And like
It only
if
has
you
base 100 special attack.
yeah, like if you want
It's not that
power,
hard
you
to
have
do.
to run Pump, and running Pump sucks. Like you miss that move. It's got really good. I don't know. I like Star. It's just like a very. It's just a staple. I've been around this guy a long time. I'm very comfy with it. I like it. It's easy to use. You can run defensive. You can run offensive. You can do whatever you want. Medicham, a lot funnier. I like that Medicham's kind of hard to use. This is like a skillful Pokemon. You have to be good to like at using it. You know what I mean? Like you can't just click a button. Like you can when you get a position, like when you get Medicham in position to click button, then it clicks button. But like it's kind of slow. It's not really that fast. I like it. It's
so tough.
I think I would put Medicham because I like it more. It's an interesting, unique wall breaker. Pure Power is kind of cool. And before it gets like, yeah, I like it a lot. Like Starmie's just, I don't know.
That's fair.
Kinda
No, that's
gen-
fair. I'm fine with Medicham moving up. I really like Starmie. I feel like we've been a little bit mean to these fighting types in the first round. Let's get one of them going up. I would vote for Starmie probably, but I accept Medicham's victory. Starmie is like one of the coolest mons in Factory and like Frontier in general because its 8 sets actually function very, very differently. It's really cool. I've appreciated it a lot more in the Frontier. It also had one of my iconic moments in a video, so I have a personal connection with Starmie. But Medicham is just cool. I mean, look at that sprite as well. Medicham is like, I would not want to be staring down that thing. I mean, that thing is mean. That is a mean Pokemon, and I think fighters need more representation. So let's go Medicham.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Starmie's cool though.
No, I like Starmie too.
Starmie's had enough spotlight. I mean, yeah. Oh.
Kingdra
I
was
really
era.
like Kingdra.
Same. I love Kingdra.
Kingdra, I like Rain. I like you different archetypes.
Oh, this is tough. Damn it.
I think I'm voting for Kingdra. Kingdra's really cool. It's like I like Rain in this tier. Like you don't even have like first of all, like removing the sand is a unique, powerful thing that you can do even if you're not trying to use this thing as a sweeper for whatever reason. But then also, like, I like that it gets to run a lot of bulk with its naturally bulky stats, and so it kind of can be like a safe little guy. Like it can always take a decent amount of hits, even though it's pretty offensive. And then I also like that it's Rain in this tier, even in Gen 4, like you have the rock that helps Rain out. Like you don't even have that in this. So Rain is like a very strange, interesting archetype in this
Cool
gen, and I like it a lot.
Even with like nothing, like none of the.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like it. It's cool.
It's just 5 turns of Rain.
Not even. It's 4 really, because the first turn is the first turn's the one you said it. It's like Trick Room.
This is tough.
It's like weird Trick Room.
Aerodactyl's my favorite Pokemon to use in Gen 3 OU. I really love Aerodactyl. It is just, I love it. In Gen 3 OU, I really love it.
Do you have a favorite set? Do you just like the choice band?
Choice band. I don't think the Sub Lychee set is. I think it had its moment, but like every single time I've tried to use Sub Lychee, I'm like, man, I wish I could click the big move here, and I have to wait, and I don't like. I love Banded Aerodactyl. It's a mon that I've used a lot, and I just think it's cool, and it's a cool Pokemon. Kingdra's cool too. I'd be fine with Kingdra moving on though, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Jim?
Arrow is an important Pokemon too. Arrow is kind of an example of like offense is defense sometimes, because it has the speed tier where it outruns a lot of like +1 things. Like it outruns +1 Select-Berry Swampert and +1 Dragon's Tyranitar.
+2 Dragon Dance Tyranitar.
Love your bulk.
Oh, depending on the set. I think you're right. Depending on the set, but you can even outrun +1 Jolly Tyranitar with Aerodactyl. Is really cool.
Yeah, you do.
Aerodactyl can also like help you in the Celebi matchup with the HP bug. So Aerodactyl weirdly has like not really defensive value, but it can offensively check things that you need to answer. Nothing has as much offensive pressure as Aerodactyl in this gen with spikes up, which I think it's a fun way to play that I often just gravitate towards. It's just like I think everyone who plays Gen 3, you should have some Aero teams in the tank. It's just like
it's good.
The most consistent way to run a spikes team, probably in my opinion. Kingdra is more niche, but it might be more interesting to me. I don't know. It's actually tough, right? It's this tough one because Kingdra is. I like that I think it's unique that you can run a Rain team in Gen 3, like Blissey said, even without that much advantageous synergy for Rain team. And I think Kingdra is probably my favorite way to run special offense. I really like Kingdra special offense because of the speed that you hit, and it helps against enemy Aero, funnily enough, because you outrun Aero and threaten them. Like the thing with special offense is that you eliminate the Blissey, but then sometimes you're too slow, and you actually just get out offensed by like them if they have Aero, Salamence, Zapdos, all these threats.
Yep.
But Kingdra just tears them apart. Like Kingdra will just come in, Rain Dance, and just clean house. I think is a very consistent way to run special offense in a very effective way. Aero also has like flinches, which are kind of annoying sometimes. Like everyone's lost to a lucky Aero flinch. It just happens.
30%, baby.
The unfortunate part of the metagame as well.
But it can miss.
30% chance to win the game. That almost makes it worse. It's that it can miss. Like, I mean, I don't hate Aero. Aero's very obviously. Aero's like a hard mon to hate because the flinches can happen, but it's not like.
Yeah, but if Aero is flinching you, you're in a position where your rock resist is dead. So it's kind of your fault to an extent.
Yeah, yes, that's like I couldn't put it into words, but like if your Swampert is losing to an arrow flinch, like it's probably because your Pert is like too chipped and you were too cavalier, just throwing your rock resist into the wind.
Unless it got crit earlier, and then you swap a good down, then you get flinched.
Yeah, there are definitely circumstances. I mean, I remember watching that replay that Blunder showed. It was like the unluckiest. It's the Salamence flinching the Swampert 3 times or whatever.
Yeah.
So like that can happen, I'm sure, but like it's not like
That's
to
a
me.
crazy
It's not a big
outlier,
factor.
though. That's a crazy.
Yeah, it's not a big factor. I just think Kingdra is more unique, and I like it a little bit more.
I'm voting for Kingdra.
Yeah, cool.
Yep, that's fine.
Kingdra. Oof.
Charizard versus Gengar.
Ooh.
Charizard versus Gengar.
I don't even know how to process. I don't even know how to process this one. Yeah, Gen 1 icons. Yeah, Gen 1 icons, these special threats that also have just a. I mean, Gengar has more sauce, but Zard also has a little bit of sauce. I mean, like, yeah, I think I lean Gengar just because the versatility is cool. It's more. To me, I still think it is more interesting to use in Gen 3 OU for me. And Charizard's a villain to me. I lean Gengar on this one.
It's a villain.
I think I lean. I think like if you ask me like, oh, pick one of these mons to put on a team, like I'm putting Charizard on it because it's just kind of like a fun Pokemon to use. But I do think Gengar brings more to ADV conceptually. Like even is like Moltress a perfect Zard analog? No, they do operate differently, but there it is like a same typing, similar space, Fire Blast, special offense kind of thing. I think I lean towards Gengar just on the grounds of how I really think ADV Gengar is like so cool.
It's
like,
so sick.
The way this like if you look at how like sometimes in Smogon, like when you look at like Smogon versus VGC, like you can look at Smogon's sets and it's just like a lot of 2-5-2 spreads. Gengar in Gen 3 is always looking like he's got some insane calced VGC spread where he's got a bunch of EV. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I like about Gen 3 in general is EV spreads get very intricate compared to other gens. And Gengar is the most. Or maybe like Snorlax has pretty crazy EV spreads, but Gengar.
I think Snorlax is the most, but Gengar's next. Yeah.
But
Gengar
I think
has so many different ones too, like offensive, defensive, different benchmarks, speed, and bulk benchmarks. It's crazy how you can get with it.
I think Gengar isn't running defensive in like most gens out. So like I think you're really like you're not running too bulky. Like Gengar runs a little bulk. It runs a little bulk in Gen 4, but it so quickly, like even in Gen 4, it is so quickly outpaced and it can't really be bulky anymore. And like Gen 3, so I think it's cool. Like it's annoying. It's got that shit-eating grin, but it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, I mean Gengar can't run physical bulk anymore in the later gens when now you have like physical powerful knockoff. I mean like
you have
that's
many
like kind of the big thing.
Pursuit.
You have many creatures faster than it in later gens. Physical Pursuit smokes this guy. I mean, he kind of loses to. He actually kind of defeats Tyranitar if it's not Scarf, but you know what I'm saying.
It's reflect type. I don't know.
I think Charizard has a better story with like the rise up to OU was a cool thing that happened like relatively recently.
It is cool.
And Gengar, on the other hand, is a staple forever. But at the same time, Gengar has evolved significantly over time, and it just keeps reinventing itself and finding new ways to like exploit all of its different options. So I got to give it to Gengar as well.
Yeah. I also love Destiny Bond, I will say. Destiny Bond is not only cool for reasons in the frontier and like AI stuff, but Destiny Bond is also just such a I just love that move. I think it's such a fair and like interesting move compared to Boom. I think Destiny Bond is really cool, but yeah.
I agree. Destiny Bond's a good move design. The game is matchup Skarmory versus Milotic.
This is the battle of the wall, sit forever, and toxic things.
Yes. Often paired together. Milo, Skarm, Claydol, Blissey, Doug.
I actually think I like Milo's design a little more visually on that aspect. And I like that it's also definitely easier to play against Milo than it is to play against Skarm.
It's true.
I think I slightly lean Milo here. It's not this is not an exciting matchup. I get it. You look at these two and you're like, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
I get
excited.
it.
I'm excited.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring down the mood.
Yo, never mind. I'm excited as well. But I think I'm leaning. I think I'm leaning. I love Milotic for the same reasons that I said before, but Skarmory just rubs me the right way. I love Skarmory. I think it is such a cool. It is a cool Pokemon, and I respect Milotic a lot. But like Skarmory, just I really enjoy Skarmory. I think I'm leaning Skarm here.
All right, what do I pick? Milo or Skarmory? Milo, I think, has better in-game flavor with the Feebas situation, but Skarm is cool too. Like, I actually remember facing Skarm in Emerald and being like, "Whoa, what is this?" Because it's a single stage as well.
Yeah,
it's just really
unexpected
powerful.
in that area as well, filled with Spindas.
A lot of people think that Skarmory is a Gen 3 Pokemon because it's like actually just like a common guy in this one. In GSC, it's only in Silver, and it's a kind of a low encounter rate.
And hard to find late in the game.
I don't remember who it's a counter to, but yeah, it's like a version exclusive. Who's the other?
I feel similarly about these two Pokemon.
I am feeling the same way.
Maybe I would give it to Skarmory because it's got legacy associated with it. It's one of the most
Yeah,
successful competitive Pokemon of all time.
It's got the ethos.
And I like using it in like Gen 5 and like different gens. In Gen 5 it can run Brave Bird and Rocky Helm.
It runs, yeah. It's a little bit more interesting in Gen 4 as well. Like you can run the standard defensive Skarm in Gen 4. You can also run you can run like a lead Skarm where you're like Sash and you outspeed like Breloom and stuff. It's an interesting guy there.
Yeah, there's
Random,
like
I dislike Milo's sprite in Gen 4.
the Milo
Yeah.
sprite. The
Gen 4 one is just not Milo. I don't know. But again, I'm so Gen 3 headed that take that with a grain of salt. But
the Gen 3 Milo sprite is a very good sprite, but so is the Skarm sprite, I gotta say. They're both
Oh yeah,
good
it's the
sprites.
loopy sprite in Gen 4. You're right. I agree with
yeah,
you.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm in
Skarm goes on, I think.
I'm in Skarm.
I'm
Hori 2
sorry.
versus
This
Suicune
is
here.
an instant vote for Suicune for me. I need to say nothing
Dude,
else.
This is funny. I think dude, Suicune is an all-time favorite of mine, but I have been coming around to Porygon 2 so much lately.
This is crazy.
I think I pick Porygon,
Porygon 2
2.
he's the goat, man.
Dude, he's a little duck.
I know Jim's gonna vote for Porygon as well. This is
Dude,
terrible.
he's a little duck who dips his nose in the water, and he has a fun, unique part of like. I like this guy. I'm going P2. I don't think I could. I think I like it too much. It's a funny little guy.
This was a stroke of genius by them, whoever did this. They did so well.
I agree.
I don't know. Whatever. Go on.
Suicune's literally one of my
You dislike
favorite
Porygon 2?
legendaries.
You dislike
No,
it?
I don't dislike it. I don't think it's a stroke of genius.
It's a stroke of genius. It's got Trace. It enables
I don't know.
Raikou and Blaziken team.
Like it's cool. I don't know. I guess I'm just comparing it to the legend, the god that is in front of it right now. To me,
well, Porygon 2 I
is
feel like
just-
has more. It's sort of goofier.
Yes,
That's
the
fair.
goof is carrying a not insignificant portion for it.
I love it in Gen
This is
4 too.
crazy.
In every gen, it gets EVO
all
like
right,
later.
all right. Vote for Porygon.
Then it gets Eviolite in the later gens to allow it to continue existing.
Okay, just move it
it's
on.
like a random
This is-
relevance throughout the years.
Suicune's
It's
my
got a legacy.
Metagross 2.0.
It's
This is
a
terrible.
really good Trick Room setter in VGC. I love Trick Room.
Did you know we can
This
hold
is
Color X Shadow
crazy.
Rider and
I hate-
something?
I
with
It's
EVO?
awesome. This is a cool Pokemon.
I
Did you
hate
know-
this.
did you know
I
that?
hate this. Let's
Dude,
move on.
Porygon 2 is gonna make it all the way, I think.
Although,
This
did
is
you know you can
crazy.
switch
I
on
cannot-
Heatran and Gen 4, Trace Flashfire?
Yup. Did
Did you know
I
that?
cannot believe that Suicune lost this matchup. This is crazy.
I like Porygon too.
I really
all
like
right.
Porygon 2.
Move on. This is what we get for beating Breloom, I guess. I don't know. This is a cool matchup. This is like the shades of like quirky special offense or quirky physical offense. They're kind of two sides of the same coin.
Yeah,
I think that's
I like-
interesting.
When I was new to Gen 3, I gravitated towards both of these and thought they were very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like using Kingdra more. I just like it as a mon to use. I like Rain.
Kingdra
But I-
Porygon semifinals. I can't get over this.
This is kind of crazy. Yeah. Well,
I think,
it's not
uh,
done yet. It's just Blitz.
Either one of these versus Porygon in semifinals. Whatever. Move on.
Yeah, I don't know. I do like both of them a lot too. I think Medicham is maybe a more interesting mon to use. The higher, like it's just the way you have to play it is more interesting because you have to make a lot of important decisions and get a lot of turns correct. I don't think Kingdra necessarily has to operate that way, but sometimes I appreciate a guy that goes in a straight line and removes sand.
Indeed. It's fair enough. It's fair enough.
This is tough for me. This is a very even. I'm realizing as we're looking, I feel like I haven't fully figured out my
stance on Medicham, and maybe it's because I haven't had a lot of in-game experiences with it. I just need some sort of like Battle Factory story to like be connected with the Medicham. I'm so much more connected to Kingdra, but like Medicham is also really cool. I don't know. What do you think, Jim?
When I'm watching Gen 3 and I see a Medicham sent out on turn 1, I'm like, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be hype. You know? A Medicham
It's going to be crazy.
Always makes things exciting. And I love that the way top players use it. Like, ban Manaphy with Medicham.
Yep, I was thinking
Absolutely
Manaphy.
That's what I was.
monstrous
Yeah,
play.
that's what I was trying to get at.
Like, and Linear Curve used to use it. I feel like the goats of the game just bring Medicham
My
and go
favorite
crazy
player of
and
all
destroy
time
you.
is the Linear Curve, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he never used Kingdra really, but he used Medicham. I mean, he also liked using Machamp and stuff, but like,
I
yeah.
recall like McMagan likes using Kingdra a little bit. Kingdra props up.
yeah.
It definitely comes up.
BKC is probably more of a fan of Kingdra. I know that he's used like that rain stuff, and he likes Kingdra a lot. Man, the moment you mentioned the Linear Curve, I feel like I'm kind of he's my favorite player of all time, and like, oh yeah, Medicham. What did you vote for, Blissey?
I'm Kingdra. I like Medicham a lot. This is not like a easy matchup, but like it's pretty much literally just because I like when I build teams, like maybe it's just because I'm literally like not good enough to use Medicham. Do you know what I like?
It's actually hard to use. It's hard to use.
Like I literally, like I'm pretty much just a ladder goblin. Like I don't compete in like any high level tournaments. I just get into spots on the ladder and stuff.
Sometimes you load up Medicham and it just does nothing. It dies.
Yeah,
right.
And I'm not also like much of a builder, and like so like when I'm building a team, like it's a lot easier to form a concept around Kingdra. So that's kind of why I picked it. Like you want a special offense team, Kingdra can go here. Like it's very easy to conceptualize that.
It is more
you know
straightforward. Yeah, it's more straightforward.
Both of their back sprites are pretty good. That's important here.
The back sprite is an important factor.
If it's a close matchup, back sprites are something to take into consideration here.
Kingdra's back sprite is elegant.
Kingdra in general is elegant. I like its weird anteater nose, seahorse style. I don't know. I like this thing.
There was an elegant water type we were just talking about as well. I'm surprised that one didn't go through, but yeah, I don't know.
It was competing against a duck, who I would actually like to say the winner of this is unlikely to defeat the duck.
This is stupid.
You sure?
Okay. I'm Jim, what are you thinking? I think I need to hear some more thoughts.
I voted for Medicham.
Oh, he voted. It's in.
This is on me?
Yes.
Alexi, please.
Man, what is this on? I feel like I'm going Kingdra. Kingdra.
Kingdra, all right. Okay.
I'm going Kingdra.
I think these are both cool Pokemon. They bring something interesting to ADV.
Yeah.
So, Medicham is my favorite Pokemon to use in Gen 3.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's just so fun.
Oh.
But actually, Kingdra, when I was new, was my favorite as well. So that they both have a fondness for both.
This should be the final matchup, not the
Gengar versus Skarm.
I think there's no world I can pick Skarm over Gengar.
Are you considering Skarm, Alexi?
I am. Man,
it has a stronger legacy. It has a stronger legacy than Gengar.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I mean, like, these are. I feel like on the forefront, like, I don't know, like if I had to like pick a plush to get or like something that I would want to be more associated with the Pokemon Skarmory. I think Skarmory is a cooler Pokemon. But when I think about like the competitive sphere and also just Gen 3 as a whole, weird competitive metagames, everything like that, Gengar has more of an edge there for me. Like, because admittedly, yeah, Skarmory is on the forefront, like as just an observer, is a little bit boring in Gen 3. To use and play against it is very interesting deep wise, but it's kind of like, it kind of has that GS vibe to it a little bit, where Gengar is like kind of breaking that mold. This is a tough one. I feel like, man, you know what? God, I think I'm going Skarm. Skarm.
You've been Skarm's #1 fan this whole time, I think.
I think I could flip-flop though, depending on what Jim says. Jim has a sway, but like I want to hear what Jim says.
Jim is very good at talking. Literally almost convinced me about Breloom over Suicune.
Breloom was sad, but both of these guys are competitors. They're both angry, they're cocky, they're stubborn, and I like that about them.
I have a whole like 30-minute video dedicated specifically to Gengar in Gen 3.
That is true.
The most nuanced. It might be the most nuanced competitive Pokemon ever. Gengar in Gen 3. The amount of variety, the amount of like the way it can be used as well. It's like Gengar is a resource in game. You don't want to. You want it to keep it at full health because it is easy to live all these things at full health. So like getting 2% chip on Gengar or something is like a big thing. I love that. Like a Forretress click an HP bug on an incoming Gengar or something. It's doing like 10%, but that ruins all its ranges. I like little interactions like that. I like that the pursuit war with Tyranitar and Gengar can like keep up with it in an interesting way with like Giga Drain to heal out of range and like the 50-50 it forces from that after healing such that Crunch has to... And yeah, there's Destiny Bond, which can also punish Claydol. Like you can Destiny Bond Claydol, now they have no spinner. Even just a standard...
Hypnosis it, LOL.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude.
Hypnosis Gengar I do hate, but that's just one Gengar.
That's a criminal behavior. Is hypnosis?
Yeah, come on,
I don't like hypnosis.
Gengar has hypnosis.
You can't convince. I don't think you can convince me. I definitely don't like it. Actually, like, a viewer sent me a team. They got pretty high on the Gen 3 ladder.
Omniweave.
Yeah, it's Omniweave. Omniweave got to like the 17. Omniweave got to like the 1700s with like offensive. It was Raikou, Gengar, like hypnosis.
Yes. This dude uses the same team. Jimko, do you know about this? It's HT1350 or Omniweave on the ladder. They're one of like my first viewers on YouTube ever.
I didn't know you knew about Omniweave too. Yeah, Omniweave. Yeah.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, Omniweave has been a fan of mine since like day one. Like they
awesome.
started in 80v1v1 and then they got into Gen 3 and they just kind of, they're always there. But yeah, it's that lead Gengar team. It has like Brick Break and it's like has a Porygon on it and it's all the same. The Gengar's name like Kiki.
And it is criminal behavior, but I do think even though it can behave criminally with hypnosis, it does have a lot more interesting stuff for me. Like, I still like all of the unique EV spreads it can have and all of the different utility options that it can run. Yeah.
Torment Skarmory is also a random shade of Skarmory that, first off, I know Pokology has used it in ADVOU, which is also crazy. But Torment Skarm is also one of literally the coolest innovations ever in Battlefront tier streaks and how Torment like works with the AI. And I don't know. So I'm
the hardest I've ever laughed at a Jimothy video is that Torment Skarm video. That's literally the hardest I've ever laughed at a video that Jim has done.
I was using
Dude, when that happened, I was literally crying laughing. I showed it to my wife who knows nothing about Pokemon. I'm like, you must watch this. Well, she knows she plays
Torment.
She plays casually, but like she doesn't know anything about competitive. And I was like,
that was the first game I loaded up with the team, and it just worked like clockwork. I was like, this is evil. This can't be allowed to exist.
It was so funny.
It was the Pokology team, yeah. It was the Torment.
Oh, I love Pokology.
Dude, and it was right after Oppenheimer, because Jim was like, I feel like Oppenheimer unleashing the nuclear bomb to the lab. Dude, I was dying. That's a truly great video.
I thought I had the idea in my head of an edit of like, it's like Pokology talking to Jimothy Cool. It's it's like the end of Oppenheimer with Einstein's talking to Oppenheimer.
Oh.
You said the chain reaction might destroy the world. I think it has.
Dude, it's
deep Gen 3. I love Gen 3. I just want to say I love Gen 3 so much for random moments like this. I love Gen 3. God, I could write a love letter to Gen 3.
That is yeah. Oh,
so
okay.
Jim, what's the vote? What's the deciding vote? Because I'm hard on Skarmory.
Yeah, I'm going Gengar. I think it's a beautiful Pokemon. It adds so much to Gen 3.
Hopefully it can beat the duck.
I think it can. Low key, I don't think I would have I don't think Skarmory could have beaten the duck, to be honest with you.
Oh, so are we just saying that the duck's winning here? I mean, like, I feel like I don't think this is a matchup. Why are we talking about this?
P2 versus Kingdra. What do you got? It was a crazy semi-final. What the hell? The BL Titans. The BL game.
We've been talking a lot about criminals in this bracket. I think both of these mons are criminals for making it this far. I think.
How could they?
First-time offenders.
First-time offenders is funny. If I had to pick, it's the duck on design and on also. We talked last round. Kingdra is very linear, and I do like it for that purpose specifically. And I do like that it gets to run bulk, so it can like live random stuff. But I think that P2 is more unique and a more interesting presence in the meta. I like the Dug trapping thing. I like the natural cure absorption, the toxic. It's just a more unique guy with more options. I like it. It's very cute, and I like the animation.
I feel like I want to dislike Porygon because of both of you are seeming love for this thing that I just don't think is that special. So I want to side with Kingdra here, but like I kind of just want to see Porygon in finals. So we've been talking for a while. Let's just get Porygon in finals.
I'm voting Porygon. I'm voting it.
We're in.
The listeners want it. The viewers want it. It's Porygon versus the world.
Too. People know I love this Pokemon. I talk about it all the time on my channel.
You brought it, didn't you? Bring it into your play-ins in a. Was this the Porygon? Did you bring it with Umbreon? Was that the team?
That might have been. I think I did bring Porygon and Umbreon in separate games.
Yeah, and then you regretted it afterwards.
Well, okay, I don't want to talk. I've talked about that before.
Another day. So let's see what is this one?
Gengar versus P2.
You guys have something for Porygon too. I think this is not even close.
I actually, as much as I like Porygon 2, I have to agree, it's not even close. Gengar is one of like the Gen 3 goats, if you ask me. I don't know. I love P2. If this was Skarmory, I'm literally voting P2, but it's not. I
want to vote Porygon just to be funny, but what's your just to be
I'm also voting Porygon to be funny. No, just kidding.
I have to go Gengar. I can't.
I think it's got to be Gengar. The respect to P2 though for being so unique and having such an interesting role and having
what a run.
Like an archetype built around it. I love what P2 adds, but Gengar adds more. Gengar is...
What a dark horse.
It's such a good
I would have
Pokemon.
voted Suicune all the way to the top, but I still can't get over that vote. But yeah, it looks like it's Gengar versus Swampert.
Yes, Gengar versus... So this is the bracket here. Look at this. Look at how far we've come.
Gengar versus
Gengar
we have been talking. This is crazy. You probably weren't expecting this, Jim.
There's a lot to say, isn't there? There's a lot to say.
There is.
Well, here it is. Gengar versus Swampert. Is this not like the... This makes sense as the final. Because
I think
these
it
are
does.
very evenly matched, and I don't know which I would pick. I do not know at all. I don't have an instant answer here.
Porygon 2 would beat both, but...
yeah.
I don't know. This is like as hard as Salamence Gengar. Or not Salamence Gengar. Salamence Pert. Yeah, Salamence Pert. This is hard.
This is tough. Swampert has that huge in-game edge is a big thing right now.
Gengar pretty good in game too.
You can't get Gengar in Ruby and Sapphire.
Who's using Gengar in their Emerald playthrough? You can't even get like.
Yeah, he's talking about Fire Red maybe. I think.
I guess your Fire Red counts as Gen 3 too, but Emerald's a better game.
Yeah, who cares about Fire Red?
I agree. I'm a hater of that game.
What a boring game.
I think. Oh man,
I'm going Swampert.
Whoa! Oh my God! Dropped.
I'm just realizing that like this is a bracket for like Gen 3 as a whole. I feel like Swampert, not only for all the great reasons that Jim has provided competitively, that perfect defensive Pokemon, but I'm also just thinking like I feel like it is fitting that Swampert wins this for me because of that perfect competitive side, and then also the in-game legend. I mean, like in the frontier, in speedrunning, fan favorite, starter, Emerald, seeing Mudkip. It's like it is integral.
He does have a large meme about Mudkip.
Swampert is integral to like being a Gen 3 fan, being a lover of Pokemon Emerald, competitively, casually. They come together, and it is Swampert. I am voting Swampert.
That's fair. That's very fair.
I think that's very fair as well.
And also, his sprite is funny. He's mouth agape, and he's looking more jovial than his friends. Gengar is a bit more sinister. Swampert has a friendly demeanor.
Swampert's Gen 4 sprite is an atrocity compared to
this
one. My opinion. I so dislike Swampert's Gen 4 sprite.
Wait, I love it. He looks awesome in Gen 4. They slim him down a little bit. I think he looks a little more sleek. I love his Gen 4 sprite. Well, maybe it's different in Heart Gold and Soul, but his Diamond and Pearl sprite's really good.
The one where he's doing this
he's doing the DJ. Kind of... No. He's scratching discs. He's a disc jockey, and he's scratching them.
Same.
No, I like it.
It feels the same as Milotic. It's like Swampert's trying to stand up too much in this one, just like Milotic's trying to stretch out too much. I You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I understand where you're coming from, but I disagree.
What do you think about Gen 5 where he's just on the ground? I prefer this one where he's sort of got his hands up, ready for combat.
Yeah, I don't. He kind of becomes like a bit of a boring guy. I also don't love the Megas design. The Megas design is insane.
Yeah, what if he's
I actually kind of like using it, but visually I'm not a big fan of it.
It's funny. I usually like when Pokemon aren't standing up and are sitting down, but like Swampert going on all fours in the future gens is like, come on, man.
I think Gengar does have a way cooler looking Mega than Spurt, I think, but
I could get on that.
That guy's also a criminal. If you want to talk about criminals, is Mega Gengar.
Oh, Mega Gengar, yeah.
But yes, my vote is for Swampert.
I am leaning Pert right now. I definitely like Swampert's design more. Gengar is like a very simple design. I do like the big silhouette. I like the eyes. I like the mouth. But there's something about Swampert. He feels like a weird, it feels like he should be over-designed because he does kind of have a lot of weird stuff going on. But somehow it comes together into this guy that I quite like using. Yeah, I guess I like him so much because he's just like an easy glue mon. It'll fit on basically any team that you want without any brain power at all, with any set that you want.
I think that Gengar can be more exciting in competitive.
That's
just
true.
because of the unexpected options. Even simple moveset variants can make a big impact, and I think that using Gengar is more skillful. I also think they're probably equally important. Maybe you could say Swampert's a bit more important. It's the rock resist. It's with the important defensive role, but Gengar is the premier spin blocker, which is very important as well. Like that best ghost type. It can block explosions too. It's good into fighting types. Even like a backup check to Dragon Dances with the defensive spread, and it spreads burn. It's like a Blissey lure. I love all the way it can be used as a resource. You can like explode on Blissey, but then you don't have a spin blocker anymore. But your Zapdos can take out the Blissey next time or something.
And it has so many. This guy has infinite sets. Like, even though Swampert has multitude of sets, it's really not running more than like 7 moves. Like Gengar, I feel like has a lot of moves.
Gengar has way more moves. Swampert is very varied though. Like it's got a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm not saying
really
it's not
mix
varied.
and match
Yeah.
Swampert, but Gengar has it beat in that department for sure with the sheer amount of variety. But I even think like a simple Gengar set, like just the standard defensive spread, is really interesting and skillful to use in game, and like in the hands of a good player is used in interesting ways too. Like when do you bring it in? What do you use it for? Because Gengar can be the main offensive threat
Rain Dance Gengar.
Oh yeah, Rain Dance Gengar. That's something that exists.
I do like the utility options of Gar. I do. It's so cool. I love. Taunt is cool in Gen 3, especially because it works very differently from all the other gens. So like Taunt is like really interesting in Ruby and Sapphire. I think.
Indeed.
I think I lean towards Swampert though. In the end of the day, I like using it more. I like its visual design more. I don't know. That's pretty much it. Like, yeah, I guess it comes down to like maybe like I'm just not. I haven't taken advantage of Gengar yet because I'm not. It's the same thing with Medicham versus Kingdra. I like Kingdra because it's easier to use. I just love using Pert. So
Can I make one more argument here? Gengar is more iconic because Gengar is sort of similar to like Charizard, Snorlax. It's like one of the Pokemon everybody knows. Children know it.
Yes.
Grandmothers know it. It's recognizable. And I think that there's merit to a recognizable and simple like mascot sort of design.
It is my friend, I recently got my trading cards appraised, and my friend, I was like surprised at some of the value of a lot of these Gengar cards. And I was like, what? Like, why this random like Gengar card so valuable? And he was like, Gengar is just a fan favorite. It's just like Charizard, where its cards are just worth a lot of money because a lot of people just really like Gengar.
Indeed.
I don't think that's nothing. And I think Gengar probably would have stayed OU if they didn't cowardly strip Levitate away from it.
Yeah.
Because that guy was OU for 6 gens consecutively.
I don't like when they do that. Like they make a change to make it more like lore accurate. Like it's fine.
No, I wonder if they nerfed. I think they might have nerfed it because of VGC.
Because it has Levitate with Mega Gengar.
Yeah, I think it had to do with VGC and Mega Gengar. I think that's why they did it because Haunter and Ghastly still have it. Like they have Levitate. So I guess they're flying, but I don't know. I definitely
stand
didn't.
my ground. I'm sorry. Swampert's just for the reasons I said before, the clash of the competitive and the in-game world. I love Swampert. I think Swampert is the fitting victor of this amazing. I don't know. It just makes me think about how much I really, really, really love Gen 3 of Pokemon for all of the different worlds and all of the different reasons that can collide together. So many beautiful ways to think, enjoy,
Swampert
and play
embodies
this
Gen
game.
3.
And Swampert is just the pinnacle of that, and I love it. I love this game so much.
I definitely think I'm sticking to my guns with Pert too. I like Gengar a lot. I think it's maybe this is the coolest iteration of it too. But I love Pert.
All right, well, we have our winner, folks. Swampert is victorious, which I think, as Alaric said, is quite fitting. So the Gen 3 classic, fan favorite, competitive favorite, everything. Everybody loves Swampert. I'm not too upset about it.
Blissey or Porygon?
Oh, Porygon 2. I'm frame 1, Porygon 2 dropping that, right?
Oh. I know you guys are teaming up on me here, so whatever. Porygon 2 gets third, it's fine.
Hey, regardless, Porygon 2's in the prize money if this is a tournament bracket.
Oh yeah,
and
let's go
Metagross
Porygon.
isn't. Tyranitar and Suicune aren't. I mean, I voted against Tyranitar.
I voted
so I
for Tyranitar, I would like to say. That's crazy that Tyranitar's not even here.
Porygon over Suicune, which I don't know, Jim.
Well, Blissey got away with a bunch of criminal behavior because I voted it sort of on a biased nature.
No, I stand by my Porygon 2 is epic. I don't know. You don't understand. You don't get it.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. This was quite a long one, as expected, I suppose, because there's a lot to say about the Gen 3 top 32. A great selection of Pokemon, harder matchups than we've seen. I mean, we've done the bug bracket now, and then also the regional forms bracket. This one was the hardest to actually evaluate these picks because I love them.
These are all cool Pokemon.
They're all cool. What a wonderful bunch of Pokemon in this format. But yeah, thank you to my two guests. You were great. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Hope you had fun.
Awesome.
This was very fun.
Epic. Well, catch you later, folks. See you in the next episode of The Fridge.